This is Rugby Radio
with Stuart Cameron.
Brought to you by Borders College.
Well, hello, welcome to Rugby Radio, which comes to you live from Mansfield Park in Hawick for the game that everyone's talking about, Hawick against Currie, and the significance of this match cannot be underestimated. We're here with you till 5 o'clock to bring you live commentary on the game from Purdie and David Ferguson. The match kicks off at 3 o'clock, but there's a full programme throughout Scotland, and we'll keep you up to date on latest scores as they happen. One result I can give you already of the Glasgow Derby, which was played last night between GHA and Glasgow Accies at Braid's home. It ended with a win for Glasgow Accies by 69 points to 5 over GHK, I should say, not GHA. They're playing today. Well, we're going to bring in David Ferguson first of all for a quick chat about this afternoon, because the backstory to this fixture is well documented. On one hand, we have Hawick unbeaten here since mid-October 2019. Then we have Currie, who have scored a minimum of 46 points in each of the 4 games so far to lead the table. So, David, it really is mouth-watering.
Yeah, it is indeed. I mean, it's, you know, we talked about Hawick bouncing back from the game against Mar, and they defeated Mar by putting on a lot of points against Kelso, but we know that Kelso are a new team to the league. They're young. This is much more of a test, I think, today as to where Hawick are, whether their title credentials really are where they want them to be, and it's going to be a great. I'm looking forward to a cracking game this afternoon. Great, you know, it's nice, it's a mild day, it's not cold, there's not a wind, the type of day that a lot of players like, you know, fullbacks particularly, not too bothered by balls going up in the air, hopefully. So I'd like to imagine, Stuart, that we might see some running rugby. I know the strength of these two packs today, but it'd be nice to imagine we'll see some entertaining stuff. Yeah,
very, very hard to predict, it has to be said, because, I mean, Hawick lost at Mar on the second week of the season. Some people started to write them off. Then they came back with that 61-7 win against Kelso, making a real statement there. But they're pretty much at full strength today. Callum Rennick is missing, but that's a pretty good lineup they've got.
Yeah, it is indeed, and I was impressed by them in terms of the way they took the game to Kelso when I was here a few weeks ago. And, you know, they've got players there who know how to play the game, know how to control the game, when it's on to play, when it's not, and you know, they really played well from start to finish in that game against Kelso. Kirk Ford stood out for me as fullback. He's not scared to come into the line, he's not scared to chase his kicks, and he's dangerous. You know, when he does get the ball, he likes to move it. So he was impressive. Andrew Mitchell, of course, many people know about Andrew Mitchell, a very strong running centre, and there's a number of players in there, and I got in trouble the last time I was here by suggesting that some of these players that could play at a higher level. Of course, Hawick want to keep them here. They don't want them playing at another level necessarily.
In fact, some of them have played at a higher level and come back to Hawick.
Yeah. So Andrew, one of those, and Jay Linton's another one of those. So, you know, you look through that team and there's a really good balance of boys who've been round the block a little bit. You know, look at Nicky Little in the forward, Sean Muir, a good captain. So up front they're strong. But they've got players who can play and move the ball, and so they've got good variety, I think, in this Hawick team, and I think that's what they've been developing. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what kind of game we get when they come up against Currie.
How do you see the first 20 minutes go? Because I think this is going to be absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it is, and it always is in games, and I think coaches lay a lot of store in, you know, we've got to be on top, we've got to take the game to them in that first 20 minutes and put the marker down. The chances of that happening often go out the window. You know, first 5-10 minutes, different things happen. It's not as predictable as that, not as easy as that. I imagine, Stuart, this game today, and I could be very wrong, but I imagine we're going to see a game that doesn't let up for 80 minutes. This is not going to be one in the first 20 minutes today. We've got two teams with this experience and this strength right through their teams, and you've got, you know, good campaigners and coaches there, Mark Cairns and Ali Donaldson of Currie. They know that games down here are not won in 5 or 10, 20 minutes. You've got to go the full 80 with a team like Hawick if you're going to win this.
Well, earlier I spoke with both head coaches, Mark Cairns from Currie, and first of all let's hear from Green's boss, and that of course is Matty Douglas. Matty, a lot of interest in this fixture.
Yeah, there is. When you look at the battles we've had the past couple of seasons, it's got to make out for a big game today. And look, probably going into the talk that we've saw and we've heard that we're second favourites, but look, we're striving off that. Look, we've had one disappointing result against Mar this season, but apart from that, we've played some good rugby, and look, these boys have trained extremely well this week, and look, we're ready to do battle at 3 o'clock, that's for sure.
I was going to say, how upsetting or niggling is that, being labelled as second favourites by certain people?
Yeah, it's not. Look, it's everybody's got their opinion, and look, I'm the first one to admit, the Mar game, we were nowhere near our best, and that was a frustrating bit. But look, we've had 2 positive results the last couple of weeks, and we only get better week on week, and we have still got a lot of young players in there coming through. And look, for us going in at second favourites or whatever, like, we've not even looked at that. Like, we know if we get our our game plan right and our structure, and probably more up top this season than anything else, rather than rugby ability, how we approach games, then look, we'll be in the fight, and that's all we care about today, is putting a performance in at home and really probably taking the game to Currie rather than letting them play to us.
Do you prepare any differently for a game like this?
No, nothing changes from the Kelso game to what we done this week. We look at how I work. We look game to game each week, and I think going into it, we've had to make a couple of forced changes due to unavailability, but the boys coming in are top quality players, and look, we've prepped really well. We've had a good week's training, and these boys thrive off these games. If anything, we are a bit better against the teams that are top 4, and that's all due with mentality. So look, we've got a game plan today, and if we stick to it, I'm hoping that we're in the right end of result at the end of the game.
This season, of course, they've started really, really quickly, particularly last week, 41 points against Heriot's Blues at Mullenny Park, and then just the 5 in the second half. So I presume part of the plan is to stop them scoring early on and kind of frustrating them.
Yeah, look, I think in terms of we know the way Currie play, and they play width to width, and they've got a great squad, and the one thing that we're going to try to do today is just put pressure on them defensively, and look, apart from the Mar game, our defence this season has been pretty bang on, and we've played 3 of the top 4 teams for last season, or top 5. We've went to Mar, we've played Hawks, we've played Accies, and also played Kelso, who were unbeaten last season. So for us, it's about trying to get them into a battle today and just test them, see where they're at. Look, it's all right scoring all these points, but when you're coming to a place like Mansfield, we want to make that tough for them, and we'll certainly try our best. And if we're anywhere near where we were here against Kelso, then look, we have to be confident, and there's no point going into second favourites. We're going in to win this game, and we have to today. With the games we've got coming up, we need to try and get as many points as we can, and keep with the top 2 teams at the minute.
And defences win games.
Yeah, they do, and I'm pretty, that's my passion, is the defence, and we work really hard on it as a squad, and the Mar game was the first time in 18 months that our defence was where it needed to be, and I think the boys have realised that we can't just turn up and expect to win this season. I do think anybody can beat anybody in this league this year. You saw some of the tight games, and I think even the teams like Selkirk and Jed, they'll get better, and for us, we take every game the same, and we need to turn up today. We need to start quick, and we need to take the game to Currie, and really put them under pressure and try and test them.
And looking at the team sheet, it's pretty much full strength. Callum Rennick obviously isn't here, but apart from that, everywhere you look, there's quality.
Yeah, that's one thing I've tried to do the past couple of seasons, and as a coaching team, is build a squad, and we know for last year in experience that if 20 players doesn't win you a Premiership, and I think the players that we've got and we've managed to add again shows, likes of Callum and Gareth Welsh are missing, and we bring in Sean Goodfellow and Connor Sutherland, who, credit to Sean, he came up to pre-season for a run around. I played with him at Hawick, he was the 9 when I was there, and look, he likes of him and Gary Lowry, Lee Armstrong, just a little bit more experience than we had last year, and credit to them, they're getting an opportunity, and when you've got somebody like Connor Sutherland coming back in, it's like for like, and we're as strong as we can be, and to have the ability to bring Russell Anderson off the bench. Ross Graham's out with a lengthy injury, so we've got the quality of squad. It's just up top, can we get everything right?
I'm sure you will. Good luck today.
Perfect, cheers.
This is Rugby Radio, brought to you by Borders College.
Well, Mark, 41 points last week in the first half. You're averaging well, not averaging, but a minimum of 46 points in every game so far. And now you come to probably your biggest test, let's be frank, at Mansfield Park, and one eye on that record of theirs disappearing.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've obviously had a great start to the season. I wouldn't want it any other way. The worry for me as a coach is that I don't feel we've been tested, and it's how our players are going to respond to what will inevitably be a really testing game today. Teams don't win here that often. They've got a really good home record. We'd love to take that away, but it's going to be a tough challenge. Last
year, of course, you seemed to start slow and catch people like Musselburgh up, for instance. I think they got 3 or 4 tries before you kind of woke up, and then you really went on in the second half. This year, it's in reverse.
Yeah, I prefer it that way. It's better for my heart rate, blood pressure. But we're scoring lots of points early doors. Again, that's not what's going to happen today, and I'm hoping the boys are prepared for that. We're going to be put under pressure the whole game, and it's how the team that handles that pressure are able to perform under pressure that will win. But yeah, it's great to have those quick starts. Second halves have kind of petered out a little bit. It's hard to motivate a team when the game was won. No matter how you try and engineer kind of motivation, but the motivation today is not really a thing, is it? All the boys are motivated, and it'll go down to the wire.
What's been the build-up from a Currie perspective to this fixture? Because 4 out of 4, 20 points at the top of the table. You're going great guns. You're in the best shape you can possibly be for this match.
Yeah, we've actually got a lot more to consider than just the ones. We've got three teams out this weekend. We've got 60 boys that turned up to training on Thursday and Tuesday and Thursday, so it's a real big group of boys. We're able to do a lot of 15 on 15 stuff, which is great. So it's a wider consideration. It's not just about the ones at our club, but in terms of our prep this week, it's really going through the stuff that we want to improve on a Saturday. Same kind of cycle, do some opposition preview work for what we expect to come up against Hawick. Nothing like that's really changed. We just know it's going to be a tougher encounter when the whistle blows.
Still hurting, presumably, as a club for what happened here in the playoff final?
No. We were really happy to be part of such a big occasion. We've had 2 finals now where we've not managed to get over the line. I don't think that's playing into the boys' mindset today. It's a new season, new opportunity for us to come here and show what we're about as a team. We did hurt back then. I'm not just being dismissive of that. It did hurt, and definitely affected us in the cup afterwards as well. But we've definitely had a good pre-season. Got some new boys in with good energy about them, and I think that's behind us now.
Tell us about the team news.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple of boys back, and Ali Bain and Will Ingalls in the forwards. Unfortunately, we lost Charlie Brett last week. He actually broke his wrist, we think, in the warm-up.
Right.
Played the whole match, and it wasn't until the Sunday that he woke up and it was a bit swollen, so he's got a broken wrist that'll keep him out for a while. So we've got Sam Leto starting at 15, but he's been involved in the one squad the whole year so far. He's a good player, and I think that's the only changes really as to what we had against Heriots last week.
A lot of experience in there. DJ Ennis, of course, and of course Jamie Forbes at 10, who's probably going to run the show, you would think.
Yeah, Jamie's a really good player. He's an attacking threat within himself, so teams can't really drift off of him. So I'm sure Hawick will be putting him under pressure, but we kind of want to play on that gain line. So we're hoping that he can operate with that pressure, and the guys can give him options either side, and then if there's an opportunity for him to run, then he'll take that as well.
So much at stake today, of course. You've got a set of backs in particular who love to score tries. Hawick the same as well. Are we going to see a high scoring game, do you think, or is it going to be very defensive?
Yeah, I think our defence has been pretty good this year as well. Obviously it's easier when you've got the ball to defend, so that's part of it, and it'll be tested more today. I don't expect it to be that high a scoring game. I expect it to be quite territorial at the start, maybe a bit more kicking. Both teams we've tried to improve in that area. Hawick have always been very good at playing in the right areas of the park, so there'll be a bit of that. But yeah, who knows? I'm rubbish at predicting these things.
So is Dale Clancy as well.
Sure, I'll be proven wrong again. But I think it'll be a tight affair. and it'll be the guys that kind of take their chances that's going to win.
Well, we certainly wish you the very best of luck, and hopefully we'll get a great game.
Nice one, thanks very much.
Mark Cairns, the head coach of Currie. Before that, Matty Douglas from Hawick. And after the break, we're joined in the commentary box by Murray Watson to talk about the new Bill McLaren exhibition, which opens next week.
This is Rugby Radio. Rugby Radio.
Borders College is your local community college. Why not read about the successes of former students, from successful businesses to top sports athletes? We love to share their successes and hear from former students. If that's you, get in touch and tell us about your own success. Read the success stories and tell us about yours right now at borderscollege.ac.uk. Borders College, regionally focused, globally engaged.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
Borders water, Borders barley and Borders people. That's what makes the Borders Distillery. Working exclusively with local farmers, the Borders Distillery is bringing whisky making back to the region. Our award-winning distillery is open to everyone, where you can meet the people behind the scenes, explore our wash house and shop quality local products. Tour your local distillery and discover the spirit of the Borders. Full details at thebordersdistillery.com. Always enjoy our spirit responsibly. Under 18s must be accompanied by an adult when visiting the Borders Distillery.
When the weather's dreich and a storm's a brewing, you need a strong, windproof, quality umbrella delivered with good old-fashioned customer service and at an affordable price. Up here in Umbrella Heaven, we say you tackle the ball, we'll tackle the weather. UmbrellaHeaven.com. Brave the storm.
This is Rugby Radio, brought to you by Borders College.
Now, this Wednesday at Hawick Museum, the Bill McLaren exhibition is going to be opening to the public for a limited time only, and Murray Watson from Hawick Memories and Hawick Rugby Club is with me now for a chat about that. You must be getting really excited because you've been this has been your baby for many a year.
Yes, I started in 2017 and clearing out Bill's glory hole, or his study, and we got 30,000 items out of there catalogued, and I spent several days a week right up to lockdown gathering stuff and cataloguing it, and the last few weeks have been involved putting this whole story of his life together, and we actually finished it yesterday.
Wow.
And it was a really amazing feeling.
Absolutely. Now, when people come, because it opens officially to the public on Wednesday,
That's
doesn't
correct,
it?
yes.
And they can go along, and it's going on till about mid-November?
It's going on to the 3 days before the end of November, and then it closes for Christmas, and it opens again on the 1st of March. But there is an additional exhibition then to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Hawick Rugby Club, and it's open right through to midsummer.
So it's all going on, and of course it will be the 100th anniversary of Bill's birthday on October the 16th, so there's going to be many unseen items there. What sort of things can you tempt us with?
Well, I mean, I'm finding things that I've never seen before. I mean, his study was, as I say, a total mess. It was organised chaos, and he knew where to find things, and his wife Bet wasn't allowed in because he was frightened she would tidy things away so he couldn't find them. But I found the other day a letter from Terry Wogan inviting him over to Ireland to play golf, which I'd never seen before. And I found a letter from Bet before she was Mrs. McLaren, when she visited him in the hospital at East Fortune when he had TB. And it was a love letter, and she was so sad and worried about him surviving streptomycin because he was a guinea pig for this new wonder drug. Fortunately, he recovered from it.
Now, of course, you mentioned there about the study, and there is a picture of him which is doing the rounds at the moment, which we've seen a lot of time of him right in the middle of his study, and literally, as you say, surrounded by memorabilia, by books, by things that he needed for his research for the big sheets.
Yes, I mean, basically he had to gather his information before the internet started. And I like to think of his study as his equivalent of the cloud computer. He had to gather the data, and he wrote inside programs, he gathered press releases, he read books, he studied medical injuries for rugby, he was up to date with the laws of rugby, and he wrote everything down, and he collated it in what we now know as a spreadsheet, but was in fact his big sheet. So he was actually quite innovative in his use and handling of data. He preceded the computer age.
Of course, we've seen his team sheets, and they're a work of art, each one. It's amazing. And of course, Dale and Robin and others here spend a lot of time putting their own sheets together, and then someone runs out with no number on, or they've changed numbers, the wingers or the second rows or whatever. Did this ever, it must have happened to Bill, and it must have upset him a bit after all that dedication, and then suddenly all of a sudden there's a number change or something.
Well, there's more than that, because what Bill did was that the day before each match he would go and meet the team, because he wanted to know how they ran, what they looked like, what their physiology was like, because mud can cover numbers and they can be lying on their backs and he can't see their numbers, so he wanted to know what they looked like. One time the French team shaved their heads so that he would not recognise them, but that did not deter Bill, because he physically remembered what they looked like when they were running.
But the funny thing is, of course, back then and even now, players and coaches sometimes, they don't really take that as a priority. They've got, bigger fish to fry. They don't really think about, the poor guys in the commentary box who've done all the research, and then all of a sudden it's all changed. Happens a lot in sevens in particular. And I know, whenever you mentioned the Melrose Sevens to Bill McLaren, he was always, he said, oh, the Melrose Sevens, he said, 24 teams and a squad of 10, 240 players. It must have got to him for a while.
Yes, it did, but his preparation was so thorough and so meticulous. I mean, he said that a day out of Hawick is a day wasted, and he talked about baggies up, border burns, and running away like giraffes, but not all these expressions were spontaneous. He actually prepared in advance. He even read French philosophers to talk about rugby in terms of freedom of movement. And there's a fascinating sheet on display which shows some of the sayings that he practiced with but never actually used.
Wow, fantastic. Well, it's going to be fantastic. I'm certainly going to be one of the first through the door. Just tell us where and when and whereabouts it's happening.
Well, it's happening at the Hawick Museum in Wilton Park. And for people who are not familiar with Hawick, you can park at the Volunteer, which is on Buccleuch Road on the A7 out to Langham. You then cross the new McLaren footbridge, and you then walk up a path and pass his statue. And I can tell you that David Campese and Scott Quinnell, when they come to Hawick, always go and visit Bill's statue. Bet used to go and talk to it after Bill had died, and then in front of you, you will find the museum.
Fantastic. Well, we certainly look forward to it, and thanks very much indeed to Murray Watson there for coming along and telling us a little bit about the Bill McLaren exhibition, which opens on Wednesday. Well, back to today, and we're minutes away from kick-off here at Mansfield Park for Hawick against Currie. Also today in National 1, a derby between Melrose and Gala, which also doubles as a Board League game, and Sam Matthews is there for us this afternoon.
It is Derby Day as part of Super Saturday at the Green Yards this afternoon. Melrose welcome their arch rivals Gala Rugby Club to the Green Yards for a 3 p.m. kick-off. Notable name missing from the Melrose team sheet this afternoon is Hamish Weir. After I was last here at the Green Yards, he was emphatic in their victory against GHA. He will be a big miss, but they do have a big name returning with Douglas Crawford in the 9 jersey, putting the wily veteran Bruce Colvin out on the wing so he can give some experience and probably some mentorship to that young back line from his wing position. Gala, on the other hand, will be looking to build on the momentum they gained last week after a dominant victory at home to Biggar. Obviously, club captain Angus Dunn with 3 tries last week would be really happy if he could replicate that form this afternoon. All action and updates coming live from 3 p.m. with flash updates here on Borders Rugby Radio.
Also happening today, we have Hugh Brown at the Gites, because we have 2 unbeaten sides. We're going to find out all about it from Hugh Brown right now. Hello, Hugh.
Well, both Peebles and Lasswade are unbeaten so far in National League 2, with 4 wins each to their credit. However, all of Lasswade's wins have been against teams in the bottom 5, whereas Peebles' victories include Gordonians, Stirling County and Falkirk in the top half of the table. Based on that fact, and with home advantage, Peebles must start as favourites. Another twist in the tale is the Lasswade coach Peter Wright formerly coached Peebles, so he knows this ground well and will be keen to turn over his former club. I spoke to him just a few minutes ago and he told me he thinks these two teams will be battling for promotion at the end of the season. Peebles team news, skipper Murdo Anderson is back in the team following a couple of weeks off for his wedding. Also returning is ex-Hawick captain Matty Carrier, who could make all the difference today. But still on the injury list is Scott Stoddart. Referee this afternoon is Darragh Ramsey. So the stage is set for the game of the day in Division 2, and one thing is certain, one of these teams' unbeaten run is about to come to an end. Except, of course, if we get a draw. Here at the Gites, it's cloudy but dry as we wait for kick-off at 3 o'clock between Peebles and Lasswade. It should be a cracker.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to that one, and good to see Hugh back again after a bit of illness. It's good to have him back on board here on Rugby Radio. Well, there's a game already actually kicked off at 2:30, and that was down at Philippoch. It's between Selkirk and Musselburgh, a bit of a basement battle, and we can cross over there right now and join Scott Tomlinson.
Yes, good afternoon, and it's 7-0 to Selkirk against Musselburgh. Selkirk started off very well, excellent driving, maul in 7 minutes. Continued with a couple of phases, and Zen Zagfrig scored under the post to make it 7-0. There's been a lot of good play, a lot of turnovers within the game so far, but at the moment it still stays the same at 7-0 to Celtic.
Thank you very much indeed. Some early scores there. There's another 2:30 kick-off as well, which is Orkney, who are playing today in Division 3 against Hillhead Jordan Hill. That kicked off because of ferries, I do believe, but there you go. Premiership though today, Glasgow Hawks against Edinburgh Accies. We've got obviously Hawick and Currie, who are about to come out of the tunnel very, very shortly. It's clouded over a bit as well. We're expecting a little bit of rain in the match, so that could be an interesting thing to chuck into the mix. Heriots Blues are playing Jed Forest, Mar against Kelso, and as we've heard already, Selkirk 7-0 up against Musselburgh at the moment. Then into National 1, Ayr against Watsonians. Ayr unbeaten at the top of the table against 7th place Watsonians. Bigger against Highland. GHA versus Dundee. GHK against Glasgow Hawks. Accies, should I say, took place last night, and that was a big, big win for Glasgow Accies. 69 points to 5 at GHK. And of course Melrose versus Gala, as we've just heard from Sam Matthews. Into Division 2, Berwick against Newton Stewart. Berwick looking for their first win, 7th against 6th there. Gordonians, who have started the season really well, they're 4th at the moment. They're at home to Falkirk, who are currently 3rd. Kirkcaldy against Aberdeen Grammar. Peebles against Lasswade, we've already heard from Hugh Brown. And Stewart's Melville will be playing against Stirling County. Into Division 3, Cartha Queen's Park against Allen Glens, Howarfife versus Dumfries, Orkney against Hillhead Jordan Hill, Preston Lodge against Boroughmuir. That should be good as well. Preston Lodge in 3rd place, Boroughmuir in 5th at the moment, and West of Scotland at home to Hamilton. Hamilton, very interesting. They haven't actually won this season out of their 4 starts, but they have collated 7 bonus points, which is pretty impressive. They're due a win, there's no doubt about that, so watch them go at Burnbrae this afternoon. And then in Division 3 we have Dunfermline against Ross High, Murrayfield versus Strathmore, North Berwick against Greenock Wanderers, Perthshire against White Craigs, and Stewartry against Garnock. Well, we're not far away from kick-off here at Mansfield Park. Hawick against Currie. Are we going to see that almost 4-year unbeaten record continue, or are Currie going to stop it in its tracks and gain revenge for their defeat in the playoff final earlier this year? Over the next hour and a half, we're going to find out in the company of our commentary team of David Ferguson. And first, a very good afternoon to Robin Purdie.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Stuart. And yeah, good afternoon to our listeners from this most famous of old grounds, a place that's seen it all over the years, with arguably the highest drama here occurring back in March when these two titans of the post-COVID club game, you could call them, duked it out in a Premiership final for the ages. Hawick, of course, came out on top with the thinnest of margins on that occasion, but their cloak of invincibility has just slipped a little bit since then, while Currie are the early season pace setters with 20 points from a possible 20, so it's the league champions versus the league leaders, the biggest show in town as far as Scottish club rugby is concerned. In terms of the teams, Hawick go with Kirk Ford at fullback, Morgan Tate and Ronan McKean are on the wings, Lee Armstrong and Andrew Mitchell are the centres, with Sean Goodfellow and Kyle Brunton at 9 and 10. Captain Sean Muir and Fraser Rennick and Nicky Little are the front row. Fraser Wilson and Dalton Redpath are the locks, with Stuart Graham, Connor Sutherland and Jay Linton the breakaway trio. No Gareth Welsh or Callum Rennick for Hawick today. Currie have Sam Leto at 15, James McCaig and Ryan Daly are on the wings. DJ Innes and Cammy Gray are at 12 and 13. Captain Jamie Forbes is at 10 with Cameron Lessels at 9. Ray Bukago is the hooker. The props are Chris Anderson and Graham Carson. The middle rows, Courtney West and Ali McCallum, with Ali Bain, Sam Cardosi and Rhys Davis making up the back row. Today's referees, Callum Worsley, with his assistants being Digby Thomas and Ian Hurd. David Ferguson, as Stuart said, alongside me to call this one this afternoon. So, David, you've seen a few rugby matches in your time, it's fair to say. How do you see this one panning out? Can you see Fortress Mansfield finally being breached today?
I think it's very possible if Hawick don't bring their A game to this. I think Currie have got a scent, this season. They've been going well. They will remember coming here to Mansfield Park last season and how that ended in the last minutes and how they were deprived of that Premiership win. So I would imagine Currie will be very much up for this today. But, they've got to make it work. They've got to take on a Hawick team that I've been very impressed with this season. They've bounced back from that defeat to Mar and, they're a very strong team. It'll take a good performance to beat them.
It will indeed. Currie have kicked off in their black strips with yellow trim. They are attacking the clubhouse end here at Mansfield Park. The kick-off was taken. It was gathered in by a Hawick player. They cleared their lines and a line-out's been taken by Currie. So Currie have possession. Centre field on the Hawick 10-metre line, but there's a big double tackle in there on the Currie second row. Currie still in possession, however, through fullback Sam Leto. He's filling in today for the injured Charlie Brett, but the first penalty of the afternoon has been conceded by Currie for holding on, so that will give Hawick the first chance to exit their half. The ever reliable right foot of Kirk Ford will be tasked with punting it down the paddock, and he's done exactly that. Decent first effort by Ford, takes play to 10 metres or so outside the Currie 22. It'll be Fraser Rennick with his first throw in of the day, arguably the top hooker in this division. The ex-Southern Knight, of course, now back at the club. He takes the instruction from his captain, Sean Muir. Dalton Redpath, one of the targets here, but they've gone to Connor Sutherland in the middle and he takes it clearly. So the drive comes on from Hawick, been seen on more than a few occasions over the years here at Mansfield, and it's starting to gather a head of steam up towards the 22. Tremendous early drive from Hawick, that's got the crowd going, and Fraser Rennick breaks off. He goes to Sean Goodfellow. He's a burly, stocky scrum half back at the club, of course. He takes it up another metre or two. Nicky Little plays scrum half, and Hawick continue to drive on here. They're now maybe 15 or so metres. It's the first carry of the afternoon for Dalton Redpath. There's Currie players in over that, but Hawick are going to maintain possession. Brunton low. There was a tap down there. The referee, you making here on the ref mic, is only calling it a scrum advantage, so there's advantage coming to Hawick nonetheless. No, he's going to bring them back for a penalty.
That's high.
And that's for a high shot. And David, penalties coming to Hawick, exactly the start they were looking for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you saw that big hit from Connor Sutherland in midfield, stopped, two Currie players actually dead in their tracks, pushed them back, and then it was Lee Armstrong getting there and winning that turnover. That's what they did in their own half to create that platform, and that line out maul is something that I would think would be worrying Currie already.
Yeah, it was textbook stuff from the Hawick forwards. The throw in perfectly executed to Connor Sutherland, who David mentioned, executed a perfect tackle in the midfield. That is what he brings to the party. Another who's had a stint at the Southern Knights and came back to Mansfield Park. So Kirk Ford is going to have his first penalty attempt of the afternoon, just outside the 22, 15 metres in from the banking side, as the crowd falls to a hush. This would be just rewards for Hawick, given the encouraging start that they've made. One of the Premiership's top marksmen, Ford, begins his run up, strikes it cleanly, makes no mistake, the flags are up, and it is first blood to Hawick. So Currie, the forwards, ambling back towards halfway. 4 minutes gone here at Mansfield. It's the captain, Jamie Forbes, to get things back underway. Currie, as I say, attacking the clubhouse end. And that's going to be taken in by Connor Sutherland. 7 on his back this afternoon. It's a purposeful carry, but there's a Currie player in over the ball. It was their open side flanker, Sam Cardosi. Recent signing from Dundee, who's been really impressive so far this campaign. In a Currie side who are unbeaten with full bonus points to boot. So one of the talismanic figures for Currie with a carry there, Rhys Davis. Now it's taken on by the prop, Chris Anderson. And again, Cardosi's there for support, but there's been a fumble there in the midfield by one of the Currie props. Yeah, that was Anderson. So David, just a wee bit of a shaky start for Currie.
Yeah, it is. You can see them trying to put phases together there. I mean, I was a wee bit concerned there. Stuart Graham, the Hawick back row, quite easily stepped by number 8, Rhys Davis there as Currie were coming forward, and you can see that they've got players in that team, Currie. There's no doubt they know what they're doing. They're not daunted by that first half. They're looking at that first few minutes, they're looking to come back with ball in hand and take the game to Hawick, but yeah, they're not holding on to it at the moment.
No, and a team can come in to a fixture of this magnitude with no greater degree of confidence than 4 bonus point wins from 4, but it's a Hawick scrum centre field just inside the Currie half, fed by Goodfellow. Held at the base as it stands by Jay Linton. Brunton now in possession, and Kirkford's on the wraparound, and Kirkford's got Morgan Tate in space. Morgan Tate cuts back inside. Cardosi again with the tackle he's put himself about so far, but Hawick players have held on to that just outside the Currie 22, so it's going to be the first penalty of the afternoon to Currie. But again, encouraging stuff. Kirkford involved there, David, and he's going to have to be a player that Currie will have to keep close tabs on.
Yeah, you could see them lining up and practicing some of those moves earlier in the warm-up before the game started. A good wrap round there, and as long as that ball's coming into the basket, nice and low along the middle, you can see the pace it brings to that attack. But Currie saw it, but it's very difficult for them to get there. So that's why Hawick made good 20 metres in that move, and it just held on to the ball. It's just making sure that other players are with them so that they can clear out and they can get the ball back quicker. Yeah, a good 20 metres, as you say, off first phase. No less.
Okay, let's just interrupt there whilst the injury is happening. A couple of very early scores in the Premiership. Glasgow Hawks 0, Inverrachy 7. A try from McNeil in that game. Hawick 3, Currie 0, a Kirkford penalty. Heriots Blues 5, Jed Forrest 0, and Selkirk 7, Musselburgh 5. Retaliation from Musselburgh to Zavajic's early try for Selkirk. And one scoreline at the moment from National 2. It's happening in the Division 2 match at the moment. It's Berwick 7, Newton Stewart 0.
And unfortunately for Hawick, Nicky Little's had to depart the scene. The veteran prop, he looks in a bit of pain, so you'd imagine with 7.5 minutes gone, his race is run, sadly for him and sadly for Hawick here. Tom Hope, though, Tom Hope's playing his 42nd game for Hawick, so a bit of experience coming off the bench. Tom Hope in and around the South Inter-District squad at the tail end of last season, so no mug, as they say, and that's testament to the strength of Hawick's squad. But we come back for the Currie penalty. Jamie Forbes just outside his own 22 with a touch finder, and he makes a decent fist of it at that, takes it up to in and around halfway, just inside the Hawick half, so it'll be Currie's first line out of the afternoon, and it's going to be their Fijian hooker, Roy Vukago. Let me tell you, he is a big old unit, and that's been taken in, but fumbled by Currie. But there must have been a Hawick hand in there, because the referee is happy that didn't go forward, and therefore mentioned Vukago with a meaty carry. He sets the platform for his scrum half, Lessels. It's been put high in the air by Jamie Forbes, but it's been taken in there by Kirkford, and Kirkford's beat the first man, and a wee bit of space is opened up, and he's put boot to ball. Kirkford, now that almost looked like it could have been a 50-22, but decent defence by Currie, decent fielding off the kick. Now they're trying to escape from their own 22, but swarming Hawick defence has wrapped the Currie player up just outside the 22 now, but Currie have managed to maintain possession. It goes to Davis. Davis pops it on to Carson, real veteran of this Currie outfit, Cardosi, with a tip pass out the back door, and there's men over here for Currie on the far side, and it's Break on there by DJ Innes. He's hauled to ground deep now into the Hawick half, just out or almost equidistant between the 10 metre line, the 22, and Ali Baines, the latest Burley Currie forward to take it up. Speaking of which, here comes Chris Anderson on his 22nd appearance. There's an arm out here. Currie playing with a free ball. The penalty advantage is coming, and it's been stolen by a Hawick player, so they're going to come back for the penalty. Yeah, the referee explaining to players that Fraser Wilson, the Hawick second rower, was offside, so it's a penalty centre field. 35 metres, I would suggest, from the posts. And David, there's never really going to be any outcome than Jamie Forbes having a crack at the sticks.
No, that's for sure, and it's interesting. DJ Innes was crucial there for Currie. You're talking about key men in that Hawick team, but in that Currie team, DJ Innes was the man who got over the won the turnover there, and the penalty deep in the Currie 22 that stopped that period of Hawick pressure. And he was a man who got onto the ball and saw a gap and went through it, took Currie over the halfway in attack there to be able to draw that penalty. So, to go from their own 22 to there, despite losing that line out on the halfway and regathering, you've got to watch it. I mean, he's a key player for Currie, and he's shown that already in the first few minutes.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's played a bit of Super Series rugby. DJ Ennis, 4 tries from 4 games this season. The ex-Watsonians and Grangemouth man, Stirling Super Series player, as Jamie Forbes lines this one up, another of the Premiership's leading marksmen. Heads towards the posts, and the flags are up, so parity is restored here with 11 minutes gone at Mansfield. It's Hawick 3, Currie 3.
Latest scorelines for you: Glasgow Hawks 0, Edinburgh Accies 7. Hawick 3, Currie 3 here. Heriots Blues scored another try, 10-0 now. They lead against Jed Forest at Golden Acre. Mar 7, Kelso 0, and Selkirk 7, Musselburgh 12. In National 1, it's Biggar 7, Highland 0, and Melrose 7, Gala 0. Kieran Clark converted by Struan Hutchison. And in National 2 at the moment, Kirkcaldy 0, Aberdeen 3.
The kick-off has been taken by Hawick, and it was not a thing of beauty, but it's been, almost for that reason, it's been fumbled by one of the Currie forwards. And now here come Hawick with a second foray into the Currie half. They're just inside the 10 metre line. Sean Muir with what you'd imagine will be one of, or the first of many carries. Now Tom Hope, the early substitute, as was the injury to, or stemming from the injury to Nicky Little. Hawick still in possession here. It's Lee Armstrong. Lee Armstrong, another back in the green jersey, tasked with filling the void left by Ethan Riley, and that will be no mean feat, but he's made a pretty good fist of it so far on his return to Mansfield. But Currie have jackled that and they've stolen it, and it's Lessels. Bain out the back door to Cardosi. Hawick faithful calling for an infringement there, but nothing doing, so Currie still in possession, not making too much headway, still within their own 10 metre line, and Hawick have turned this one over. There's a bit of pushing and shoving in there, but Hawick now in possession, out to Ronan McKean. Ronan McKean tries to take off down the far side, but he's hauled down by a Currie player. Now it's Goodfellow at the base. Sean Muir again with the Currie players again trying to snaffle that, but it's been maintained by Hawick, and it's Goodfellow again, this time to Sutherland. Impressive start to the game by Sutherland. Cardosi making a nuisance of himself, and here come Hawick. Lee Armstrong with a floated pass out to Morgan Tate needs to be wary of the touchline, but he's done well there, Tate, to come back inside to his fullback Kirkford. Again Vukago in over that. The referee, the counter ruck's now coming on. Hawick need to secure this ball inside the Currie 22, 5 metres in from the stand side. Armstrong playing standoff, goes to Fraser Rennick pumps the legs, and it takes a Currie player or two to haul him to the deck. Goodfellow again to Redpath straightens and goes, makes another metre or so. Hawick inching their way forward here, and it's out to Brunton out the back door to Tate sees half a gap and takes a couple of Currie players to haul him down. Hawick still in possession, being told to use it by referee Callum Worsley, so they do exactly that. Rennick sets it up again for his scrum half Goodfellow. This time it's Jay Linton, and Jay Linton pumps the legs and continues to go. He's got help there from a couple of Hawick players, one of which was Wilson. So they're sent on. There's a half a gap being spotted there. It almost turned into a full gap, and another couple of metres have been taken there. But have Currie stolen this? Yes, they have, in the shadow of their own posts. So they'll be looking to exit here, but There was a lovely little half break there by possibly Sean Muir, but the lines have been cleared by Currie. But yeah, David, they've been in the Currie half a couple of times now, Hawick, and they've made good headway on each occasion.
They have. I mean, it was just right in there that they're actually holding the ball much better than Currie until Dalton Redpath picked up and went, and we thought he was there. He thought he'd seen a gap. He was almost there at the post, but he got turned over. And that's the unfortunate thing there, is that Hawick weren't expecting that. They're expecting the ball to come again with another phase. Don't know how many phases that was, Robin, but we must have been into double figures. So they kept the ball really well. They were going at them, but Currie's defence, are doing really well, and we just saw too many turnovers there.
Yeah, Mark Cairns spoke pre-game about how happy he's been with the defence as well as attack, and that was evidence there. But Hawick are in here, lovely break, and it's Andrew Mitchell, one of the form players in this league, first try of the afternoon. And David, that is peak Andrew Mitchell.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what can you say? You could be really critical of Currie there. It seemed to be too easy for Andrew Mitchell. He took that ball, it came off the line out there, and took a great line. He cuts a good line, and he makes it look easy because his pace, his power, he looks like he's gliding there, and you think somebody's bound to get to him, but he's going at a rate. He's got that sort of languid running style that means that he's actually going a lot faster than he looks. And you were already calling that a try before he got past the last man, because you knew nobody was going to stop him.
That's it. As soon as I seen who it was, and you mentioned his pace, you mentioned his power, but he's got the rugby nous as well to come on that, almost that what you might call a dog leg arc, that in and back out. And the unfortunate fullback Sam Leto there had his work cut out, and he was never going to stop him. Kirkford from bang in front adds the extra, so all of a sudden there's a little bit of daylight as Hawick go out to 10 points to 3 in front with 16 and a bit minutes gone.
Latest scores for you: Glasgow Hawks 0, Edinburgh Accies 7. It's Heriots Blues 10, Jed Forest 7. Harry Meadows try now. Mar 10, Kelso 0. Heavy rain at Fullerton Park, I understand, at the moment, and a ding-dong at Philip Hawks. Selkirk 14, Musselburgh 12.
So Forbes gets us back underway. That's gone to McKean, varying it up a bit with his kicking from the restart there, but there's been a wee bit of indecision in the Hawick ranks there inside their own 22. Forward pass by a Hawick player back to McKean is going to result in a Currie scrum over on the far side, almost halfway between the Hawick try line and the 22. And David, that's a wee bit of a coach killer, that one, just straight after the kick-off. You're looking to take it in and you're looking to clear the lines, and that's exactly what didn't happen.
That's it. And today, on a day like today, you'll get away with that against Kelso and teams at the lower down in the league, but you'll not get away with that against Currie. I'd imagine Currie will look to make them count, make that pay today, and that's where Hawick have got to be on their game right through the game today if they're going to go away with 4 or 5 points from this.
Indeed, and it was the second time actually that standoff Jamie Forbes has sort of gone to that corner. He didn't do the traditional kick-off looking to give his forwards the opportunity to get under it. He's gone deep into that right hand corner on both occasions, and he's come up trumps on that one. So Currie scrum, it'll be fed by Cameron Lascelles. 27th appearance for Currie for him. 1 try this season from 4x Scotland under 19 man, and here they come. They're looking to run a move through DJ Ennis, one of the danger men in this Currie backline, and here comes the power from the number 8. But Jay Linton, speaking of number 8s, is in over that, and Jay Linton has won a turnover, and there's a wee bit of pushing and shoving in there. And Jay Linton, David, give us, I've waxed lyrical, people will be sick of hearing my thoughts on the man, but yeah, give us your take on him and as an all-round player.
Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed by what I saw of him. A wee bit surprised to hear that he'd come back from Southern Knights, because I think he's a player that's better than Southern Knights even. I think Jay Linton should be playing and should be coming through the ranks of pro rugby in Scotland, and that's where I get really frustrated at the lack of opportunities we have in Scotland for some of our best young players. Signing boys from abroad, signing other players to come here. It's players like Jay. You saw there what he can do in a flick of a moment. He's turned the attack into defence and turned it back into Hawick attack for them.
Indeed, as Nicky Little is coming back on the field, which is great to see, because for all the world with the way he departed, Tom Hope now coming off it, with the way he departed, it looked like, as I said before, his race was run. Hawick have kicked the penalty to touch. didn't make masses of distance with it, but they've maintained the line out. The drive came on and Sean Goodfellows put that into the box, and it's been taken in by the Currie winger on that far side, Ryan Daly, but he's been harried and hassled by Hawick defence, and again there's Hawick players in over the ball, but it's came back safely enough on the Currie side. Lessels finds his prop Chris Anderson. Anderson's been chopped, but he's managed to keep the ball on the Currie side as they form the old caterpillar at the back of this ruck to buy that extra few millimetres for the box kick from Lessels, but it's been charged down and it's been gathered in by Dalton Redpath, and Dalton Redpath needs support here because he's, through his own good work, he's run away from his support, and yeah, for the second time through no fault of his own, he's been pinged for holding on. And David, you called it before and it happened again. He just, through his own good work, the support couldn't get with him.
Yeah, and it's a good point to make, Robin, that it's through no fault of his own. You know, he can't be the one. You know, he's made a great break. He's charged down. The ball bounced nicely for him into his arms, and he was almost through, half through there, or he was on his way to the line. But we need the Hawick players looking for those opportunities. There has to be somebody on his shoulder quicker than that.
Yeah, and I've mentioned it before, David. You get such a short second now to release the ball. Could it be argued that in a situation like that there maybe needs to be more to favour the attack, because all the Currie fullback has to do there is hang off, allow another player to tackle him, come in over the ball, and there's only going to be one outcome, and I always sometimes feel it favours the defence.
It's a good point, Robin. It does. There's no doubt about that, but I suppose the onus is on players to be quick in attack and make sure they're attacking in numbers.
And for all that is worth, Hawick have won the Currie line out that stemmed from the penalty, and Andrew Mitchell, a try scorer, is using his power to swat off a couple of Currie tacklers. Cammy Gray's in there trying to release the ball, but it's managed to be maintained, and it's out to Jay Linton. Jay Linton's been reasonably well marshalled there by the Hawick defence. He's been caught behind the gain line, but he's set it back cleanly. Dalton Redpath again, he's had a couple of breaks, picked the pocket the Currie defence a couple of times so far in the 21 minutes or so of this game so far, and Hawick inching forward here, their centre field, and it's a little dink over the top was attempted by scrum half Sean Goodfellow, but a Currie hand got to the ball and they've managed to mop it up, and it's been carried forward by Sam Cardosi, the open side wing forward, and the tip pass out the back there by Graham Carson, and now there's a chance to run for the man mountain, the Fijian hooker Roy Vukagu. Connor Sutherland's all over him like a rash, but penalty's been awarded against Hawick for a high tackle. You may have heard the referee mention an upright tackle as he referred to it. Nonetheless, it is a Currie penalty, and that will give Jamie Forbes the opportunity to send it from the Currie half into Hawick territory, and he's done exactly that. And that's a decent effort by Jamie Forbes. Not only is it taking it into the Hawick half, but it's taken it into the Hawick 22 as the rain starts to fall here at Mansfield. There's a brolly or two appearing on the banking side as the Currie forwards trundle forward towards this line out. Again, it'll be Vukagu. He's been busy so far to throw this one in over on that far side, and he goes to Courtney West, the tall figure of West in the middle of the lineup, but Hawick have done pretty well to repel that, and Currie are going to have to be mindful of the touchline here. And Vukagu it is who comes back in field, now steps into the Hawick tackler, the would-be Hawick tackler, and Fraser Rennick is opposite number. Lessels, another carry there for Chris Anderson, played here in the Premiership final back in March. The heartbreak for Currie, and that's been spilled by Sam Leto, but that's gone backwards. And it's Lessels again at the base of this. This time he goes to the other prop, Graham Carson. 161st appearance in the black and yellow jersey for Carson this afternoon. A real club man. Now it's with DJ Ennis, another who's played a few games for Currie over the course of the last couple of seasons, and he'd grubbered it through. And the referee's going to bring them back for a Hawick line out. So they huffed and puffed there, Currie, but they didn't do much in terms of blowing the Hawick door down.
No, you're right, Robin. I mean, they've not had a lot of chances in the Hawick 22, and it's been from Hawick mistakes that they've been invited onto the Hawick 22 and given the chance to attack. The last one ended with Jay Linton turning over. That one, that was really good by the forwards. Again, Hawick drove them back out of their own 22, forced Currie to regather, and they've struggled to get back in.
So Hawick line out, Fraser Rennick. This time he goes to Redpath, who's had a strong start to this game. That was palmed back, and then there's another chink of light appeared that was almost exploited by Connor Sutherland, and now Ronan McKean's got an opportunity to come up the far side here. He makes another 5 or so metres. Hawick players are in over that to secure the ball. Good fellow. There's a non-rushing Hawick forward there, and again it's Sutherland. Good fellow again at the base. Another phase from Hawick as they look to put out the backs this time, but Lee Armstrong puts it down the park, and it's gathered in by Sam Leto. Sam Leto returns it to Kirk Ford. It's been fumbled by Ford, but backwards. It's comfortable enough, but he's not going to be able to put it to touch here, so he puts it straight to the penthouse, and he's looking to get under this. Ford. It's well gathered in, however, by Jamie Forbes. The referee deemed that he's been tackled in the air by Kirk Ford. I didn't think there was much in that.
I think he's offside.
Oh yes, he's pinged Mitchell. You're absolutely right. He's pinged Mitchell for offside. A wee bit of a cheap one, perhaps.
Yeah, and there's been 2 or 3. That's the things that are just creeping into Hawick's play that has just given Currie the chance to get a foothold in this game.
Yeah, it's all very well being up for the battle as the penalty is taken. Now that's going to be close, and Morgan Tate almost done brilliantly well while over the touchline to jump with his feet off the ground and palm that back in, but Ian Hurd was right where he needed to be and has called that one, and there was no great remonstration from Morgan Tate. So an attacking line out for Currie here in a really prominent position, 6 metres from the Hawick try line. Stand side, Vukago it will be to throw in, and he goes to Bain at the front. It's gone to ground but gathered in by Carson, the Currie prop. He goes back to West. Hawick players all over the ball there. They're in over that. Nicky Little making a nuisance of himself again, but another penalty just starting to rack up a wee bit. Hawick conceded again, and Lascelles is taking it quickly, and he goes to Forbes. Forbes has got the winger on the outside. The referee again has penalised Hawick. We're going to have a listen in and see what this is for. I think it's for not going back 10.
Yeah, I've got guys in the middle who were not 10.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which number was it this?
I didn't get numbers as far as I was concerned, so I'm coming back to check the...
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eyes up, watch him tapping!
Yeah, cool.
That's tough, Robin. I mean, they took a quick tap, ran straight at Hawick players who were retreating. For them to get back at 10 metres in that time, it's not easy.
Yeah, and it was possibly Hawick maybe a wee bit fortunate there, because the referee, Callum Worsley, headed over to the near side assistant, Ian Hurd, to ask for a number, which would suggest to me he might have been going to brandish a card, but Ian Hurd didn't see which number it was, and Hawick, I agree with you. It's what's the Hawick player supposed to do as he's retreating, and the Currie attacker runs into him.
I think we can quickly go to the Gites, where Hugh Brown's waiting for us. Peebles against Lasswade.
Lasswade lead courtesy of 2 tries in 11 minutes and 23 minutes. Peebles hit back 17 minutes into the game when Harrison kicked in to touch 10 metres out. That led to a score under the post by Matty Carrier, and Donald Anderson successfully converted. But with 25 minutes played here at the Gites, it's Peebles 7, Lasswade 10.
Glasgow Hawks 0, Edinburgh 7 in the Premiership. Herits Blues 10, Jed Forest 7, Mar 10, Kelso 7, and Selkirk 14, Musborough 12. That's the Premiership. National 1, it's 8-3 to Ayr against Watsonians. A Zach Howard try there. Bigger 12, Highland 7, GHA 12, Dundee 0, and Melrose 14, Gala 7. Scott Peffers just scored a converted try.
And as you rejoin us here, there's a Currie scrum, a 5 metre scrum at that. It's going to be reset. And they've got a blind side here, Currie, of 15 metres, as well as the open side as well. So attacking positions don't really get much better as the referee goes to reset.
Under your chaps, nice and high with your bind.
It's well spotted, Robin. I think they are looking for this blind side. They are looking to use this blind side. That winger tucking in behind the scrum, leaving the whole 15 metres, as you say, open. It'll be interesting to see whether they try and fool Hawick here.
Yeah, Morgan Tate, the Hawick defender on this side, and it's James McCaig, as you say, that's tucked in directly behind the scrum. He's 2 from 3 this afternoon, 6 tries this season, and he heads towards the blind side, but bit of a decoy as it's picked up by the number 8. Half a gap appeared for Forbes, but he was scythed down. Currie maintained possession, however. Taken in there by Ali McCallum, the rangy second row. There's a Hawick player again in over the ball. Decides better of it. And again, Mansfield Hawick defence here. It was Ali Bain, the latest Currie forward, to trundle it up. Tipped back to Sam Cardosi. He's been on the score sheet so far this season, but he's hauled down. And again, Currie looking to keep it in the forwards. Davis is in to support his player there, but this time they come to Forbes. They're Hawick hand in there, but it's come to their advantage being called, and it's Vukagu swatting off players. Now it's McCaig. McCaig comes back in field, up towards the try line. They're not far away here, Currie. Rhys Davis, the latest to head towards the whitewash. This time it's Graham Carson. Hauled down by the green wall. Lascelles, the other prop, Chris Anderson, trying to draw in these Hawick defenders. Ali McCallum, but the Hawick, Fraser Rennick's in over that. Rennick, and he's stolen it, Fraser Rennick, so says the referee. Currie, however, stolen it back and flopped over the line, but the referee has awarded a Hawick penalty. And David Fraser Rennick, I mentioned him earlier in the game, he's one of the league's most prominent performers, and he showed it right there.
There's a great example there, the last few minutes, Robin, of how defences can win games, isn't it? We talk about how many tries they have to score, but Hawick defended so well that several Currie players were down on their knees because of the strength of the hits they were taking as they were attacking. And then we saw it there, 1 metre from the line, that you could see Currie thinking we just need one reach here, and Fraser Rennick's in over, and that's the pressure eased in one fantastic skillful move by Fraser Rennick. Very strong.
Yeah, strong play by Rennick. As a couple of Currie substitutes are about to enter proceedings, and Kirk Ford, from practically under his own posts, has given Hawick a line out 30 metres from their own line. Sean Fisher and Will Ingalls coming on for Currie. Fisher, the ex-Falkirk man, played Scotland under-19s with the likes of Rory Darge and Ollie Smith, whereas Will Ingalls, ex-Boroughmuir, and Stu Mell, another who played here, possibly as the scars of playing here in that Premiership final in March. The Hawick line-out's been taken, and the hero of the last few minutes, Fraser Rennick, has found Dalton Redpath. And now they're looking to rumble it forward. Hawick, not for the first time this afternoon, and not for the first time, has been put into the box by Sean Goodfellow. And that's been taken in well, however, by Ryan Daly. And it's Vukagu in, providing the support. Ali Bain, on his 5th appearance, carries it again for Currie. Tipped on there under pressure but from a Hawick player, but it's back in the hands of Innes. Innes still managed to maintain his feet up to halfway. Couple of Hawick defenders drag him down. Now here comes Rhys Davis. He only knows one way, and Currie are up over the halfway line. Middle of the field. Now it's the substitute Ingalls. He fires out to Ryan Daly, but Ryan Daly's hauled down by his opposite winger, Ronan McKean. Currie now looking to give it some air. Out to Innes again. Innes is first hit by Lee Armstrong, then taken down by another Hawick player, and there's a Hawick player in over the ball there. But it's came back on the Currie side, and it's Cardosi. Cardosi with a hitch kick. Fires out to the winger, James McCaig. Pretty close to the touchline, but managed to keep it in field. Currie. Bain comes back to Forbes. Again, Innes, this time puts boot to ball. And it's a bouncing ball, and it's going to go out for a Hawick line out. So had a bit of possession there, David, but just kind of maybe run out of ideas, Currie, at the end of that.
Yeah, actually you've got to give a lot of credit to that Hawick back line, particularly Lee Armstrong and Andrew Mitchell working very clever. They're very clever at cutting out. We talked before the game about how many tries Currie have scored this season, averaging 48 points a game. you know, and moving the ball when they get the chance. But Hawick are stopping them from getting any width in this game. They're cutting them up very quickly. The line speed is good, and they're making DJ in his turn inside every time, and he's turning into traffic, and it's making it easy. He's getting lined up for the Hawick players to have a go and tackle.
With 6 minutes to go in the first half, Hawick 10, Currie 3, as was the case earlier. Nicky Little, the ribs are gone. He's manfully came back onto the field, and they've got another 10, 12 minutes out of him. He's battled on and put himself about, but that injury has got the better of him again. So as we've seen before, Tom Hope, who's a great replacement to bring on the ex-Langham man, he's back on, and the Hawick line-out's been taken, and it was Sutherland at the tail. Now that's been fired in there. Jay Linton in midfield, crashing it up. Good fellow. Goes back to Brunton. Brunton sends it downfield, and it's McCaig, the winger, that takes it in. McCaig with the footwork, but it's a good tackle round the ankles by Morgan Tate, but there's a break on here by the other winger, Ryan Daly. Daly flings it infield to his fullback Sam Leto, and Currie are now up again to the Hawick 22, and it's Davis out the back door to Forbes, over to Cardosi. Cardosi uses the big hooker as a decoy, but they fumbled it, and is there a chance here for Hawick to get downfield? The knock-on advantage is over, however, as the left foot of Kyle Brunton sent it down into what seemed to be acres of unoccupied Hawick real estate.
Always inside.
And he's inside his own 22 there, having received the kick, Kirk Ford. So back into the Currie half, and Bukago's going to get an opportunity to build up ahead of steam here. He's crabbing across the field, however, but he's swatted off the Hawick scrum half. Good fellow. The Hawicker. Oh, a good play, however, by Cammy Gray. There were Hawick defenders around him, but a bit of footwork, he's managed to evade them. So Currie still in possession, still inside their own half. Good defence by Redpath, the Hawick second row, and it's back out to Carson. Carson straightens, comes back in field. Again, Redpath in there, doing the dirty work, and Fraser Rennick's gone in and hit a Currie player hard, but Currie maintained possession. And it's going to be Forbes in there playing scrum half. Forbes with the box kick, having come in from his standoff berth. And that's going to be Anderson under that. Anderson's been gobbled up, he's fumbled it, but Ronan McKean's back to support, and McKean's beat a couple of Currie players, and he's made the yardage. It's enabled his forwards to get back and around him. Good play by Ronan McKean. Not just a try machine, as the half inches towards a close. 3.5 minutes to go here. Box kick by Goodfellow. It's potentially going to be a contest, but no. Jamie Forbes gathered that one in and fell into the challenge, but it's back again on the Hawick side, and it's Innes, and he's fumbled that, Innes, but it's gone backwards. But again, Innes has harried. He's got a target on his back, it looks, from here. Such is the testament to his quality. He's always going to be a bit of a marked man, and it's out again to Cardosi, who's been a willing workhorse for Currie so far in this second half. He takes it up towards the Hawick 10 metre line, and again Currie are huffing and puffing, maintaining possession, but not much by way of territory gained as it stands at the moment. So Jamie Forbes has seen enough, and that's a decent kick by Forbes, but Kirkford, his positioning, as it so often is perfect, as we've seen before in this half. You know, plenty possession for Coventry, for Currie rather, plenty phases, but boot to ball was the option at the end.
Yeah, it's surprising the game is still just 10-3, isn't it? Because the amount of chances that Currie have had have been really limited, so you can see why it's 3 points to them. They're not really threatening in that 22, but they've got a lot of that play in the middle of the park, and Hawick are having to work really hard. I think half time is coming at a good time, because I can see some of these Hawick players starting to tire a little bit. Yeah,
I would agree with that, but you know, that's to be expected. Such as the work rate, such as what they're putting into this defensive effort in terms of stemming the Currie tide, which has been up towards the promised land a couple of times without ever really threatening to break the door down. But it's a Currie throw inside the Hawick half, and they've played it safe to the front of the line out. Didn't look all that straight, but the referee's happy enough, and it's Innes again in the midfield. He comes out the back door, and that's a good piece of defence again by Morgan Tate. He's been impressive so far in this game. He was up out the line, good line speed. Well taken there off the bootstraps by Sam Cardosi. in the midfield, and it's out to Ennis again. That's a good cut-out pass to the rampaging number 8, Davis. Now a wee bit of space is opened up for Currie here, and they're up into Hawick 22, and that's Carson taking it in. Lessels out to Ennis. Now the substitute, Ingalls. Vukagu heads towards the line. Hauled down just short. But Currie, again, still in possession. Oh, and it's been maintained. Rhys Davis takes it to deck. And it's the second row this time. There's a wee bit of a coming together of Currie players between him and Sean Fisher, but nothing doing, says the referee. So it's back with Forbes. Forbes out to Leto. Hawick have got their work cut out, but that's a good man and ball tackle there by Kirkford. But Cardosi's come up with it. Cardosi out the back door to the captain, Jamie Forbes. And just before half time, 25 seconds to go, Jamie Forbes is over. And David, as you said, Hawick would be looking to see out the half, but that's exactly what didn't happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I just got a sense there's been, we can say that Currie haven't threatened an awful lot in this game, but that shows how much it's taken out of Hawick. They've been doing a lot of tackling, they've been working really hard, particularly in the middle area of the park. There's been lots of phases there over the last 10 minutes for Currie. They've had the ball and going forward, and it's always harder, as you know, Robin, it's always harder working in defence to keep getting back up off the floor, making the hits. And I think Currie, they just kept working there, kept working. This time, the difference between that time and what we've seen from earlier Currie attacks is they kept hold of the ball and they kept it through the phases, and those breaks that the forwards made into that 22 on the far right sucked Hawick in, so that when they did hold on to the ball and get it left, they eventually had men over.
You're absolutely right. There was just a bit more composure after they got into sort of double figures for the phases, and it'll be he who's scored all 8 of Currie's points so far this afternoon, Jamie Forbes, to attempt this conversion to turn his 5 into 7. He's 12 metres in from touch. Decent strike right down the middle on Ryder Cup weekend. That was as straight as a die. The scoreboard clock is up as far as the first half is concerned, but Callum Worsley has seen enough by way of time added on for there to be at least a kick-off here. So even Stevens, 10 points apiece. And Kyle Brunton to get us back underway here. Brunton goes long with that one. It's been taken in by a Currie player. He puts boot to ball, and that's a decent clearance by Currie there. That takes play back into the Hawick half, so it'll be a Hawick line out, halfway between the halfway line and their own 10-metre line. In front of the few worthies that are braving the rain on that far side. Referee, you may have heard there, saying there's a minute and a half of life left in this half. Hawick don't appear to be in too much of a hurry.
Stay back with them. Yeah.
Referee telling Sean Goodfellow that there's numbers aplenty and that he has to stay back, and that's gone right over the top to Sean Fisher, and Sean Fisher's allowed to get up ahead of steam as he carries it up towards the Hawick 22. And the last thing Hawick will want to do here is concede again, whether it's a try or even a 3-pointer, and it's juggled by DJ Ennis before he takes it in, and there's an arm out by the referee, so there's a penalty advantage coming. So all of a sudden Currie very much in the ascendancy here, and they're into the Hawick 22 now and playing with a free ball. It's Forbes to Ryan Daly, who's come right across from the opposite wing looking for graft. Always good to see. Will Ingalls, the substitute.
Out from the side over there, so I can't let you play advantage. We'll come back for the high tackle, which is here.
High tackle, and it's a penalty just outside the Hawick 22, and it's nigh on bang in front. And yeah, I was going to ask you, David, what would you do here, but Jamie Forbes has already decided exactly what I would do, and no doubt what you would do as well.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's interesting that there's been 2 minutes extra played in this half after the 40 minutes that we thought sort of gone dead, and the referees found an extra 2 minutes. And I did say a few minutes before half time that Hawick would be looking forward to getting in there. So you're looking at Hawick going in just 3 or 4 minutes ago, Hawick going in with a lead, a 10-3, and now they're likely to be going into that half time 13-10 down, and that's just Currie Currie have just put it together in the last 5 minutes, and that's a lesson, a message there for Hawick, as to how much they can't just defend the whole game. They've got to be doing more. They've got to get their hands on the ball in the second half.
They'll be looking to do exactly that because they've been starved of possession for much of the last 10 to 15 minutes as Forbes lines this one up. Strikes it well, makes no mistake, so all of a sudden Hawick from 10-3 are now going to go into the sheds. 3 points adrift, and David, it looked, the first half of the first half, Hawick were good value, but Currie, they've got plenty about them, and they've more than clawed their way back into proceedings.
It shows, when you get to a game at this level, when you're contesting titles and you've got teams that are tight, they're well controlled, they're well drilled. Little mistakes. We talked about Dalton Redpath having 2 cracking breaks where he picked up and he went. Both times he was penalised. He was within, not far off one of Dalton's big long reaches of the line when he was brought down, but there was nobody with him. And both of those times turned over, penalties allowed Currie to escape. Now, Hawick have played that first half really well. In the first 20 minutes, as you say, first half of the first half, they attacked well, they took chances, and then when they defended, you think, okay, Currie are going to come back into the game. We know they're going to have spells, so they defended that really well. Where they just lost it in the last 10 minutes of that half was not being able to hold on to the ball, not being able to get the ball when in their terms, and being able to hold on to it themselves and start to put a bit of pressure on Currie. Currie had all of that last 10 minutes, and inevitably, as well as Hawick defended throughout that half, and they had some cracking hits, some really good line speed, they were inevitably, if you allow the opposition to have time after time after time, build the phases, a team like Currie will make you pay for that.
Well, as was predicted here, we've got a ding-dong on our hands. It's half-time here at Mansfield. Hawick 10, Currie 13.
More from Robin and David later, but after the break we'll catch up with the latest scores up and down the country at the halfway stage.
This is Rugby Radio. Rugby Radio.
Borders College is your local community college with qualifications recognised and valued by employers. To find out more, visit borderscollege.ac.uk today. Borders College, regionally focused, globally engaged.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
Borders water, Borders barley and Borders people. That's what makes the Borders Distillery. Working exclusively with local farmers, the Borders Distillery is bringing whiskey making back to the region. Our award-winning distillery is open to everyone, where you can meet the people behind the scenes, explore our wash house and shop quality local products. Tour your local distillery and discover the spirit of the Borders. Full details at thebordersdistillery.com. Always enjoy our spirit responsibly. Under 18s must be accompanied by an adult when visiting the Borders Distillery.
When the weather's dreich and a storm's a brewing, you need a strong, windproof, quality umbrella delivered with good old-fashioned customer service and at an affordable price. Up here in Umbrella Heaven, we say you tackle the ball, we'll tackle the weather. UmbrellaHeaven.com. Brave the storm.
This is Rugby Radio, brought to you by Borders College.
Far away far away from me. You're so far away from me. You're so far I just can't see. You're so far away from me. You're so far away from me. And I get so tired when I have to explain. And you're so far away from me. See, you've been in the sun and I've been in the rain. And you're so far away from me. You're so far away from me. You're so far I just can't see. You're so far away from me. You're so far away from me. Take it out. So far away from me. Oh, you're so far away from me. Yeah, you're so far away from me. So far away from me. And you're so far away from me. So far away from me. So far away from me. Oh, so far away from me. 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 Yeah, yeah. So far away from me. You're just so far away from me.
Music there from Dire Straits, the first single to come off the Brothers in Arms album all those years ago, one of the biggest albums in history. Let's go to the Green Yards. We've got Sam Matthews there. It's half-time, Melrose against Gala.
Half-time at the Green Yards, and the score is currently Melrose 26, Gala 14. Bonus point try is already secured for Melrose. Melrose in the ascendancy this half. Gala have been very lacklustre with their chances and have been scraping for seconds at the breakdown. Melrose seeming in complete control of this half. Second half to come from the Green Yards.
Let's have a look at the Premiership at the moment. It's Glasgow Hawks 0, Edinburgh Accies 19 at Ballgrey. Hawick 10, Currie 13, of course, is our feature game at the moment. They're still in the dressing room, but Hawick getting ahead 10-3 and coming back Currie for the last couple of minutes of that half and getting the try and conversion and also a penalty as well. So they lead 13-10 at the break. Half-time at Golden Acre, Heriots Blues 24, Jed Forest 15. Mar against Kelso, half-time there at Fullerton Park. Mar 24, Kelso 7. And Selkirk against Musselburgh. That game kicked off at 2:30, so they're well into the second half now. Selkirk with their noses in front. Selkirk 21, Musselburgh 12. International 1, it's Ayr 18, Watsonians 13 at the break. Bigger 15, Highland 10 is a half-time scoreline. GHA have got the try bonus point against Dundee. GHA 22, Dundee 0. GHK against Glasgow Accies. That game played last night to avoid the rain, and Glasgow Accies won by 69 points to 5 on the road at GHK. And as we've just heard, Melrose against Gala at the Green Yards. It's currently Melrose 26, Gala 14. 4 tries to 2 tries for Gala, and a high scoring match no doubt in the second half as well. Into Division 2, it's Berwick 7, Newton Stewart 13 at half time. Gordonians 8, Falkirk 0. That's an interesting one. Gordonians in 4th place at the moment, Falkirk in 3rd. Kirkcaldy 12, Aberdeen Grammar 13 at half time. Peebles 7, Lasswade 27. 5 tries for Lasswade into the second half now. In Division 3, it's Howe Fife 36, Dumfries 5 at half time. Preston Lodge 26, Boroughmuir 3. And the teams about to come onto the pitch for the second half here at Mansfield Park. Remember, it's Hawick 10, Currie 13. A bit of a ding-dong battle. Let's rejoin David Ferguson and also Robin Purdie.
Thank you, Stuart. Currie just emerging from the tunnel, as are the officials, and it's going to be Hawick 13-10 adrift to get things back underway. They're going to be attacking the club room's end in this second half. And David, as you mentioned, they played, they looked like they had Currie's measure in the first half, but Currie, they've not gone 20 points from an available 20 for no reason.
No, that's right, and I'm pretty sure that'll be the message from Matty Douglas, the Hawick coach, in the dressing room at half time was, don't get complacent. Yeah, we were in control of lots of that, our defence was good, Currie didn't look like they were threatening much, but this is not Kelso or a team that we've played in recent weeks. This is the team that are vying for the title, and they will not let up, and they saw that. They found ways to score points in that first half. Hawick have to take the game to them, and as you can see, that's how they started the second half.
And Hawick are in possession with a free ball to play with because Jay Linton run hard into the gargantuan figure of Roy Vukagu, and he sat him on his backside, but not before Vukagu had attempted to tackle him, and that attempt at a tackle was on the high side, so the shrill of the whistle will tell you that they're coming back. So just inside the Currie half will be a Hawick penalty, and no doubt Kirkford will attempt to send this as deep into Currie territory as he possibly can. He takes his mark, Kirkford, the cultured right boot. It's a decent effort by Ford. It's a very decent effort. It's taken play almost halfway into the Currie 22, and it'll be Fraser Rennick with the first line out of the second half. Sean Muir, as captain, comes over for a blether. Give him the instruction. Split line out here, a couple of pods. They come to the middle, and that's cleanly taken in there by Sutherland. Now the drive comes on, almost a carbon copy of the first half, where Hawick kicked the touch and then the drive, but they're broken off here, splintered off Fraser Rennick. He's up towards the line, Fraser Rennick, and he's over the line, and cometh the hour, cometh the man, David. Yeah,
I mean, again, we're talking about there's certain players, when they've got the ball, you just don't see them being stopped, do you? And Fraser came out of that, bolted out of that maul when he saw there was a chance and it was splintering, and he just bounced off one, bounced off another, and over. Yeah, very hard to stop from 6, 7, 8 metres there.
Yeah, for me, an absolute key component in Hawick's double winning success last season was the return to the club from the Southern Knights of Fraser Rennick, and my word, they've got some depth at hooker as well, with another ex-Southern Knight, a captain of the Southern Knights, no less, Russell Anderson, prowling the touchline, itching to get on, but Hawick are back in front, and whatever was said in the sheds at half-time by Matty Douglas and his cohorts, David, has done the trick.
Yeah, I think, you could see that, and that's how they started the first half, and I think, they just allowed Currie to come in, few mistakes, allowed Currie to get their hands on the ball, and then they just seemed to be too comfortable, if you could say that, when they're putting in ferocious tackles and sitting, soaking up that pressure. You can't afford to do that with Currie, so, I'm not surprised that Hawick have come flying out the trap second half.
Yeah, a couple of minutes gone. Kirkford with this conversion attempt. Strikes it well. Another kick that is straight down the middle, so 3 minutes gone in the second half. It's Hawick 17, Currie 13, exactly what Hawick wanted. That's also their second try of the afternoon. The first going to Andrew Mitchell on the back of a rampaging run. So Currie again just with something to think about. The league leaders. That's kicked off straight to Ford. And again, decent relieving of pressure from Ford. He sent it from his own 22 just into the Currie half. Bang in front of our vantage point here at Mansfield Park. This time it will be Vukagu. 1 try from 2 appearances, 1 naming in the offside line team of the week as well for the big Fijian. Ex-Warringah player in Australia. Also had a stint in Spain at Les Abels. Scored last week against Heriots, and he's found his man from the line out. And it's Lascelles out to Forbes, who finds open side flanker Cardosi in the midfield. This time Forbes grubbers it through, but it's well positioned there by a Hawick player, and it's been sent back downfield, and that's been returned by Currie, allowed to bounce by Morgan Tate, but bounces up and into his bread basket, and this time it's going to be Lee Armstrong. He's put it high, Armstrong, and he's after it, Armstrong, and there wasn't a Currie player within a couple of metres of him when he's up and into the Currie half, but again he's little by way of support, but they've got to him, the Hawick players, and now there's a Hawick penalty coming when it looked like it might have been the other way, and now there's numbers on this near side for Hawick if they can spin it out. Oh, Rennick under pressure from Vukagu, but they're going to go back for a Hawick penalty and bang in front. David, what are you thinking on this? Well,
yeah, I think we can see what they're going to do because they know how tight this game is. Taking it out to 2013, 1 converted try ahead. That's what they've got to do, Hawick, is just make sure they take this game away from Currie. But that just shows, you know, the value of chasing a kick, doesn't it? Lee Armstrong put a kick up there. It might not have been quite where he wanted. He was attacking from his own 10 metre, putting it up. And it came very much in field, but he chased it down really well, and I think nobody else quite knew what was happening. Nobody else went for it, and you know, I mean, that's the power going from your own half where you're under pressure to now having a penalty just outside 22. That's you know, all down to Lee Armstrong's work there. Yeah,
big net gain for Hawick on the back of Armstrong's good work. The kick bamboozled some of the Currie players, and he caught it without a hand being laid on him. Kirkford, 30 metres bang in front. Strikes it, and again the flags go up, so a dream of a start to this second half for Hawick. Just over 6 minutes gone. A penalty's been kicked by Kirkford to add to the Fraser Rennick try and Ford conversion, so we're out to Hawick 20, Currie 13. Currie now, again he's gone deep. Forbes with a kick off. Oh, and it's been fumbled by the Hawick player. Over on that far side it's Connor Sutherland, and David, that's the first thing he's done wrong this afternoon.
Yeah, just 2 players there getting in the way of each other. I think both Jay Linton and Connor, they weren't quite sure who was going for it, and then they left it to each other, and Connor got it last minute. But yeah, I mean, these, I think, most of the game Hawick have been pretty tight on a lot of things they've done, but little mistakes, and you know, it can cost you against a team at this level. So yeah, they've got to keep themselves focused and concentrating this whole match.
Yeah, games of this magnitude, it's the little things, it's the doing the basics. Slight error there by Hawick gives Currie possession via a scrum. Slight shunt comes on, but Currie with the scrum have won the ball in the 22, and it's back to Forbes, and the pass has gone loose, and Kirkford's got a left foot to it, and it's drifting towards the touchline. Gathered by Ronan McKean, but he's been tackled into touch, so not what Currie wanted there at all, and Hawick have managed to exit up to the 10 metre line. Wee bit of a misunderstanding in the Currie back division there. The pass from Jamie Forbes went to nobody in particular, and it's going to be another Currie line out, a facet of the game which has went pretty well for them this afternoon. And they've got a couple of totems there to aim at, that is for sure. Will Ingalls being one of them. He's a tall individual, as is Ali McCallum, but this time they've gone to the tail to Rhys Davis, the hugely experienced Rhys Davis. Played for Edinburgh in the Inter-District in the latter part of last season, and they've set up the platform, and it's that man Ingalls that he's hit pretty hard there. upon receipt of the ball. That's a better flat pass from Forbes. But again, Hawick defence holding pretty firm. So Davis has to go route one, and again he's tackled. Not making much headway over the gain line here, Currie, and that looked slightly forward to me, and the referee agrees, and that's brilliant, harrowing, hassling defence there by Hawick.
Yeah, it's very similar to how we saw the first half start, isn't it, Robin? You know, Hawick are putting a lot of work in their defence. They're making sure Currie have to work for every yard, and that's what we've seen, a couple of mistakes from Currie because of the ferociousness of that defence, and you know, a lot of that's down to how Hawick have started this half.
Yeah, they've come out the sheds, and they've come out the traps in this second half, Hawick, and they've got a scrum here right on halfway, pretty much central.
Just keep it on the mark before the ball, yeah?
And Declan Lightfoot is on at scrum half for Hawick. So it'll be he to feed this scrum. Like another decent man. They've got some strength on the bench today, Hawick. Tom Hope already on, of course, due to the first half injury to Nicky Little. It's held at the base there. The referee feels that could have came a little bit quicker. It's sort of gone down in the front, but so anyway, it's going to be a reset and another head and feed to Hawick right on halfway. Declan Lightfoot, 38th appearance for Hawick, second of this season. He's been in and around the scene for a while. A lot of experience on the Hawick bench this afternoon. Russell Anderson, Tom Hope, who's already on. As their scrum resets. Good attacking platform. Hawick for Hawick here, centre field. Fed again by Lightfoot, and again it's the number 8, Jay Linton at the base. And Linton fishes it out, but he's been caught there by the Currie players, and he's going to have to put it back between his legs. But Lightfoot's managed to get it now, and Connor Sutherland hits it up. Currie trying to make a mess of that situation. And that time it's Sean Muir offering himself up for work. Lightfoot again. Lightfoot to Linton. Linton fires it back, and Lightfoot's going to have to go down and tidy this up, and he's not done that, so it's gone back. However, Dalton Redpath, there's been a Currie hand in there somewhere along the line because there's a scrum advantage being played, and it's been knocked on by a Hawick player, Lee Armstrong it was, so they're going to come back for the scrum, and I think Hawick will be pretty pleased with that, David. It wasn't particularly tidy.
It wasn't. I think when that ball came scooting out, it wasn't coming back deliberately from Hawick. It was actually a Currie hand that got in and pushed that ball out. So yeah, I mean that just shows again that Currie, you know, are a team that are very much still in this game.
Yeah,
you know, there's
absolutely.
only 7 points in it. They've come out the first 20 minutes. They looked like they were going to get blown away by Hawick. They came back. They've come back again. They're working hard. They're a tight, hard-working, powerful side. You know, they've got a lot of good players in that team. So Hawick, it's another little message there to Hawick. You've got to work for every ball you have. You can't just expect things to happen.
So we're almost back where we were a couple of minutes ago. Scrum, fairly central, just inside the Hawick half now, and again it's Lightfoot to feed. Lightfoot this time is going to fire out to a standoff. Brunton out to Armstrong, and Armstrong puts it down the park. Where's that going to bounce towards the 22, but there's a Currie player over there in attendance, and it comes infield to Ryan Daly, the winger. Daly kicks it, but it's gone right down the middle of the park to Lee Armstrong. Lee Armstrong with a hitch kick. Armstrong, big hand off there, right to the moosh of Daly. And now it's Sean Muir. Muir with yet another carry. Lightfoot, having been set up by Muir, goes to Fraser Rennick, and Fraser Rennick, scorer of the Hawick second try. He's made a couple of metres there, Fraser Rennick, and again there's been a pick up and go there, and Lightfoot's off and running, and Lightfoot's up towards, or up and into the Currie 22. Brunton this time plays scrum half. Brunton now goes to Mitchell, and Mitchell runs into the heavy traffic, and the heavy traffic fail to stop him at source. So Hawick now up 6 or 7 metres on. It's been spilled but hacked on. It wasn't knocked on, and it's been picked up by Lee Armstrong.
That was a kick. Look, that came off his shins. That ball came off his shins. That wasn't
Lee Armstrong's remonstrating with the referee.
Oh no, I think the referee's got that one wrong.
We'll be interested to see that one back.
We'll see.
Stuart Cameron in the editing suite will no doubt overnight, no doubt.
From here,
chop that one up for us.
The ball certainly went down. Hoyt lost it, but it looked like it came forward off the shins from here. Maybe the ref's closer, so perhaps the ref's been able to see that there were hands touching it.
It looked like it had been fly hacked forward, as you mentioned. It had gone to ground, it was great initial play, then it became just a little bit of a mess. The pass went to ground, but for me it was hacked forward by Anderson, and he was quick to react while some of the Currie players sort of looked at each other thinking there'd been a knock-on in there. But either way, it's going to be a Currie scrum.
Okay, a few updates for you from the Premiership. It's Glasgow Hawks making a bit of a comeback. Remember, they were 19-0 down at half-time. It's now Glasgow Hawks 14, Edinburgh Accies 19. Hawick 20, Currie 13 here. Heriots Blues 29, Jed Forest 15. Heriots have now got the bonus point. Mar 27, Kelso 14. Kelso doubling their tally for this afternoon with another try. And Selkirk 21, Musselburgh 19. A ding-dong battle over at Philip Hawke. In National 1, Ayr have the try bonus point. It's Ayr 25, Watsonians 13. That's Zach Howard, also Scott Watson, Rowan Potty and Seth Ray scoring the 4 tries for Ayr. Bigger 17, Highland 10, GHA 22, Dundee 0, and also Melrose 31, Gala 24 at the Green Yards.
15 minutes of this second half played. Hawick 20, Currie 13. Currie with a scrum, 5 metres inside their own 22. The knock-on having been awarded against Lee Armstrong, who very much felt it had come off the boot prior to him flopping over for what he believed to be a valid try.
Understood.
As the scrum resets, Russell Anderson is on for Hawick, and Fraser Rennick, it would appear, has gone to bright blindside flank. So is it? Just look at see who's come off there. I think it's Connor Sutherland. We'll come back to that, but a big shunt on there by the Hawick scrum for the first time today. The scrums have been fairly even, and Hawick have won that. Oh, the referee again's awarded a knock-on against Hawick, in fairness. Camille Lascelles, the Currie scrum, haven't seen something in there.
Into National 2, some latest scores for you. Berwick 14, Newton Stewart 20, Gordonians 15, Falkirk 7, Kirkcaldy 19, Aberdeen Grammar 13, and it's now Peebles 19, Lasswade 27. Third try for Peebles, getting a penalty try there. And International 3, Howe 5, 36, Dumfries 5, and Preston Lodge 33, Boroughmuir 3. And one half-time score for you at the moment down at Milltown in East League 1, Langham 18, Linlithgow 21.
And again, the Currie scrum going back at a rate of knots there. Is that a difference that Russell Anderson has made? The ex-Southern Knight hooker has come on. Fraser Rennick moving into the back row. Fraser Rennick, not really a man you want to take off, but Russell Anderson very much a man you want to bring on. Such is the level of depth here that Hawick have at hooker, but Currie trying to exit by running out their own 22, have thrown a forward pass, and it's just all starting to go, the last few minutes certainly, David, it's just all going the way of Hawick.
Yeah, it is at the moment, and we saw this in the first half. Currie guilty of a couple of mistakes, but you certainly don't want to be making that kind of mistake. 5 metres from your own line, a forward pass, you've got to be more precise than that, and they'll be cussing themselves because that's handed Hawick a scrum on just 5 metres out. But you're talking about that difference in that scrum. Couple of cracking scrums there from Hawick that really put the pressure on, and I think the difference of Fraser Rennick going to a blindside, you might have a back row who's actually pushing Robin, in the scrum.
Possibly,
what difference it makes there. But I think he seems to have replaced one of the second rows. I'm trying to work out, because you're right, 6, 7 and 8 are still there.
Yeah, I think it's Fraser Wilson, actually, the ex-Gala and Scotland under-18s man, who I can see down there on the touchline. So Currie under a wee bit of pressure here. It's a Hawick scrum, 5 metres from the Currie line, and just like Currie towards the end of the first half, there's a decent blindside here for Hawick to try and exploit. So a great attacking platform. Lightfoot, who made a decent break so far since coming on, and it's picked up by Jay Linton. couple of Currie back rowers bring him to ground, and it's gone to Sutherland. Sutherland back into the Currie forwards. Sean Muir, he'll do exactly the same, but he's fumbled at Sean Muir, and that's a bit of a collector's item. So Currie just potentially been let off the hook by Hawick there.
Yeah, again, it's both sides just guilty of silly little mistakes that they'll be cursing themselves over, because, you know, Hawick have got a chance here. They're only 15 metres out from that line, but it's very reminiscent of the first half, Robin, where they got themselves up 7 points in front, and you thought they would go on to build on that. They didn't. They let Currie came back into the game. You know, from Hawick's point of view, they've got to have learned from that first half that they've got to put more points on the board, because Currie will come back. Yeah,
and let's not forget, you know, we're talking about handling errors. We are in the ample shelter of the Hawick press box here. The rain continues to fall here at Mansfield Park. 21 minutes remaining. Hawick 20, Currie 13, and a free kick has been awarded to Hawick, much to the annoyance of some of the Hawick faithful, and that looked high by Dalton Redpath. Yeah, you could see that from here. Referee was right up with play. A wee bit of a seatbelt tackle, as they call it nowadays, by Redpath, and that was picked up on quickly by Callum Worsley. So Currie again just given that opportunity to clear their lines, and it'll be Forbes from his 22 metre line who sends it into the stand here. So it's going to be a Currie line out on their own 10 metre line, and the ex-Peebles man Ryan Stewart has come on for Vukagu at hooker. Started the final here back in March, had a decent game on that occasion as well. Ryan Stewart, 43rd appearance, scored against Hawick last season in one of the 2 regular season league games, and the line-out's been won, but again there's just a wee bit of an error in there. It's been fumbled forward by Currie, so it's going to be a Hawick scrum. 5 metres in from the touchline, and the crowd have just picked up a wee bit as well, David.
Yeah, definitely. You can feel that sort of restlessness, because they know the game's not won here yet. Hawick are winning 20 points to 13. We're midway through the second half, but again, this was where it started to turn in the first half. Hawick were up for that first 20 minutes. They looked in charge, but then they allowed Currie to come back in with silly little mistakes. You can feel that nervousness in the crowd, wanting the green machine to go into victory, but knowing the game is far from secure.
Yeah, just a little bit of anxiousness creeping in here as Morgan Tate has been replaced by Charlie Welsh. I've been really impressed by Morgan Tate this afternoon, having missed all of last season. He's played well so far this season for Hawick, but decent operator Charlie Welsh. It's only his 7th game, but he's played a bit of Super Series rugby, and Lee Armstrong beats another few Currie players. He's really grown into the game this afternoon. The replacement for the brilliant Ethan Riley, and he's making a pretty decent fist of filling that jersey. Of course, he's very, very experienced here at Mansfield. Lee Armstrong, great to see him back in the fold. And as the Hawick forwards take play up towards the 22, and Kirk Ford's hit hard yet to collect it high above his head. The pass and left his ribs just a wee bit exposed, and he was chopped down. Now it's Russell Anderson, and again Russell Anderson just takes it forward for Hawick. Sean Muir takes a Currie player out the equation, looking for the space to open up here, Hawick, and it's Armstrong again. Armstrong out to his centre partner Andrew Mitchell, and there's another penalty coming here as Welsh goes in looking for his first involvement. Have a listen in to what the referee's going to say here. He's going to have a word with the Currie captain. He's looking for Jamie Forbes.
This court, sir. Just guys too high, okay? Yeah. Keep him down.
Yeah, another slightly high shot, so we've got penalty to Hawick here. 27-28 metres from the Currie line.
Hold on, we'll keep time off while
almost right in front. There's a Currie injury here, so the referee's going to stop the clock.
OK, let's go to the Gites. What's all happening there? Peebles against Lasswade, Hugh Brown.
Peebles were trailing by 13 points at the interval, needed to do something quickly, but it was Lamont for Lasswade who scored early in the second half. Neil Pate brought the scores closer in 46 minutes, but the conversion was missed. And then Peebles were awarded a penalty try with 20 minutes left. So it's quite close, still anybody's game here at the Gites. It's Peebles 19, Lasswade 27.
Yes, Glasgow Hawks are coming back at Edinburgh Accies as well. It's Glasgow Hawks 21, Edinburgh Accies 22 there. Heriots Blues 29, Jed Forest 15. Mar 27, Kelso 14 is the latest score. And Musselburgh have just taken the lead with just seconds remaining. Selkirk 21, Musselburgh 24. That's in the Premiership. In National 1, it's Ayr 25, Watsonians 13, Biggar 20, Highland 15, GHA 22, Dundee 0. And Melrose have scored again. It's Melrose 38, Gala 24.
Kirkford will attempt a shot at goal here. The penalty having been awarded for a high shot as the crowd falls to nigh on silence. Right in front, 28 metres out, Ford. The crowd like it. The assistant referees like it. And all of a sudden, David, we have a 2-score ball game.
Yeah, and that's crucial. I mean, that's what Hawick never managed to do in the first half. They couldn't open it up beyond 7 points, and they left the door open for Currie. And we saw how that ended in the first half with Currie going from 10-3 down to 13-10 ahead. And this is what Hawick now need to build on. No dropping balls from restarts, holding the ball and taking the game back to Currie.
So Forbes, not the most aesthetically pleasing kick-off, but it's almost fumbled there by a Hawick player who, in these wet conditions, did really well to take it in on the almost on the kind of half volley. As Lightfoot calling for his forwards to create a platform for him, and that's exactly what they've done. So looks imminent like he's going to put it in the box, or at least attempt it, but the Currie defenders got round, and there's a high shot in there by a Currie player, but the referees missed it, as is the assistant. Oh no, there must have been a bit of chat there, but because the referee's going to bring them back. The Hawick player had very much sort of fallen into that, but yeah, there was a shot to the head there by a Currie player, and that just relieves what was starting to look like a wee bit of pressure for Hawick there.
Of their own making. You know,
absolutely.
We're just talking about mistakes. This is where they've got to be tight. Last 15 minutes of this game, they've got to be tight and try and cut out the mistake. Not easy, as you said, Robin. It's wet. It's been wet the whole second half out there. The rain's been coming down, so it's not easy. But that was a kick that was charged down by two different players there.
Another brilliant punt there by Kirkford. Deep in his own 22, very much centre field, and he's sent it into the Currie half. And Hawick, of course, from the penalty will have the resulting line out, and it'll be Russell Anderson with the arrows. So Hawick in the ascendancy in this second half, as there's a bit of treatment being administered to a Hawick player there. It's Ronan McKean, the big winger, hero of the hour here, of course, back in March on that momentous occasion, memorable occasion, in that line out with Squint. You could see that from here. So the Currie scrum right on halfway, 14 minutes remaining according to the scoreboard clock here. Hawick 23, Currie 13, 10 points in it. Currie coming into this in many people's eyes as favourites, but others of the reckoning that the teams they've played, David, are towards the kind of lower echelons of the table, and whereas Hawick have been away at Mar, they've been away at Edinburgh Accies.
Yeah, I think see the offside line this week predicted a home win, because you just know that Hawick in this form, you know, they're a good side, they've gone together well, are tough to beat here.
They most certainly are. Glasgow Hawks, the last team to beat them here, October 2020, but Currie have spun that out to the winger on the far side. I beg your pardon, of course, it was 2019, nigh on 4 years ago, when Hawick last were beaten here at Mansfield, and that's been fumbled in the midfield by Currie. Is there an opportunity for Hawick to pick up and go? No, fumble by Hawick in there as well, so the referee's going to bring them back, and Currie just looking a wee bit panicked at the moment. It won't be a situation they've been in this season, Dave.
No, that's right, and that's what their coach Mark Cairns was saying before the game, was he's a little bit scared of the fact that he felt the team hadn't really been tested yet. They've put on 40 odd points in every game and more, and they haven't had this kind of test, so it's how they stand up to it. So it is a big test for Currie today, and at the moment in this second half they're just not passing those tests. They're dropping too many balls.
Another sub for Hawick, Sam Frizzle, captain Hawick forced aboard the Reserve League Cup last season. Another indication of just how strong this Hawick squad is. He's replaced a man that ever dependable in the famous green jersey, Stuart Graham, on the occasion of his 193rd game for Hawick, no less, as he inches towards the double century. Now it's the Currie scrum inching forward, but it's been shipped out there to Lightfoot. Now it's in the hands of Kirkford, and he's going to attempt to relieve the pressure, and he's sent it up towards the 22, and it was palmed at there by the fullback Leto, and the Currie forwards are all on side because Leto's kick, there was a hand applied to Leto's kick, so everybody played on. So on we go, and it's Currie now. There's a snipe there by the Currie scrum half. Currie are up and into the Hawick half here, over on the far side. Hawick players are in over that though, and they've driven Currie off the ball, but a Hawick footed kind of inadvertently hacked it forward, but the referee's going to bring them back for a Hawick scrum. And Hawick, David, they just look like a team now that have got the bit between their teeth.
They do. There's no doubt about that, and they're dominating this game at the moment. But it's not far away. You know, the game is still not put to bed yet. You know, I think Hawick still need a score, because Currie have shown when they do get 2 or 3 phases away, they're dangerous. They've got quick players, they've got strong players. They won't see this game as being finished yet, and you know, I think we've still got some more to see.
Hawick 23, Currie 13, just over 10 minutes remaining, plus possibly a little bit of time added on as the clock ticks down. The rain continues to fall here, and it's a Hawick scrum. Lightfoot out to Anderson to Mitchell, and it's opened up for Mitchell here. Red Sea stuff for Mitchell. He's up towards the 22. He's going to have to find support. Currie players in over there, but the support's got there, and that's a lovely clean ball, and it's flung out to McKean on the same side where he scored that famous try back in March. But he's cutting field here, and he's up in at the 22. Lightfoot at the base. Lightfoot's got an on-run as a Hawick player, and it's Sean Muir takes another 4 or 5 metres for Hawick. Tom Hope, the substitute, he trundles it now, and the referee's arm is out once again, centre field. So Hawick again playing with a free ball here, and it's Connor Sutherland, who the latest half break, and they're playing advantage here, Hawick, and they're over the line and they're in, and it looks like it's Charlie Welsh, and that was cute play by Kyle Brunton with a grubber, playing with a free ball. And David Ferguson, that takes out to 28 points to 13, and that was fine play all round.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Hawick, again, you know, we talk about Andrew Mitchell and how deceiving he is. Goes through a gap, but you know, that gap was huge, but clearly Hawick have worked on that. Lee Armstrong timed the pass absolutely perfectly, drew the players to him, put him into the gap, and he streaked across halfway in a good 40-metre run there, taking Hawick up to that 22. What was really pleasing at the end was they knew they had a penalty coming. You're starting to think, okay, another penalty could stretch that out to 13 points, but they didn't stop playing Hawick. They kept going. A nice wee grubber, as you say, perfect in behind a Currie defence. It was at 6s and 7s, and Charlie Welsh was ready for it on the same wavelength there to finish off, and that starts to open up the gap that Hawick have been waiting for.
Absolutely, it was incredibly smart play by a man that I consider to be an unsung hero here at Mansfield, Kyle Brunton. And there's an injury there. It looks like a bit of a sore one for Ronan McKean, who's being helped from the field. They won't want to lose him for any length of time as the conversion run-up starts. Kirkford. No, Ian Hurd had left his perch long before that arrived at the sticks. He knew that wasn't going to dissect them. However, it's Hawick 28, Currie 13. 15 points adrift now, Currie, with little more than 8 minutes remaining, so they're going to have to find something from somewhere, and Hawick now will look to kick on for a 4-try bonus. Currie, this time Forbes, who's gone long all afternoon with the restarts, has tried to give his forward something to get under, but it's been taken in by Jay Linton, not the man you want to send it into the breadbasket of, and he sets it up for the Hawick forwards. And again, Lightfoot's at the base of this ruck. Looks like he's going to shape the kick, and again there was pressure on by the Currie forwards, but it's a decent effort that by Lightfoot. Takes play into the Currie half, and the number 8 from Currie this time, Rhys Davis, the ex-captain, he takes it up, and there's Hawick again, players in trying to make a mess of that, and he's switched the play this time. The standoff, Forbes inches towards the 50-22 territory, but good Hawick cover and a great Hawick clearance as well. Takes play back into the half, so it's going to be, or the Currie half rather, it's going to be a Currie line out, 3 metres inside their own half. Just over 7 minutes remaining. Hawick 28, Currie 13. If you've just managed to join us, been all Hawick in this second half. Currie have seldom had a foray into Hawick territory. Such has been the upturn in performance, David, from Hawick since half time. As you'd mentioned, a couple of times they were fairly prominent, Hawick, in the early parts of this game. Then it dropped off a wee bit, but certainly in this second half they're very much up the ante.
I think they've just worked harder at being tighter, not giving Currie that foothold. Little mistakes that they did in the first half. They sat back a little, they worked hard in defence, but they seemed happy for Currie to come at them. Second half they've been a bit more aggressive and making sure that defence keeps Currie back, and that's what they want to do, is keep Currie in their own half, in Currie half, as they try and wind the clock down, because the Currie have to score 3 scores now. They need 2 converted tries and another score. That's unlikely in 6-7 minutes, but Hawick will, as you say, will want to see if they can get another chance to get that bonus point try.
Let's quickly go to the green yards.
And just as you come to me, try number 8 of the afternoon for the home side has gone in. Melrose now 50 points to Gallus 24. Second half domination has continued from the home side. Melrose 50, Gala 24.
And it's all over at the Gates. It's 26-27 to Lasswade.
Sore one to take there for Peebles. Their unbeaten run is gone, as better line out there for Hawick. Palmed back and into the arms of Jay Linton. He wasn't expecting the pass to be fired out to him, but he's made the most of it nonetheless, and there's what looks like a wee bit of a arm round the neck there from a Currie player, but referee Callum Worsley seems happy enough, and there's a wee bit of a cute chip over here, and it's looked for Charlie Welsh, and Charlie Welsh feeds it inside to Dalton Redpath, and he sells an outrageous dummy, and now he's got Andrew Mitchell in support, and Andrew Mitchell hairs off. He's up and into the 22, and Mitchell's looking for support, tried to feed it back, and there's a penalty coming there. However, Redpath's looking for more than that. He takes it forward another metre or so. Great play as Lightfoot thought he'd seen a chink of light and tried to weave his way through it. The referee's going to bring them back for a penalty, and is there going to be a yellow card coming the way of a Currie player? Indeed there is here. We'll have a listen in to see what the referee's going to say.
You're spoiling a great attacking opportunity.
Yeah, spoiling a great attacking opportunity, quote unquote. So Currie player comes towards the sidelines, and the shrill of the whistle will tell you it's a Hawick penalty. They will have no thought of going for the sticks, even though it's imminently kickable. I think it's DJ Innes, yeah, coming to the sidelines. Professional foul there by Innes, as Hawick were looking for that 4th try, but they're still going to have an opportunity here, because Kirkford has sent it to the touchline, maybe 8 or 9 metres from the Currie line. Now, David, possibly the smart money here is on something that's been seen on countless occasions over the 150 years of Hawick rugby here. Line out, catch and drive, perhaps?
I think there's a good chance, just looking at how Currie are trying to match up here, but they know it's coming in the forwards.
Yeah, but it's gone right over the tail. Unfortunately, it's been gobbled up by Cardosi. So Currie in possession, out the back door by Cardosi, and there's a wee bit of space opened up on the far side for 14-man Currie here, as they're up and over, and there's a wee bit, and it's been fed back inside but been fumbled, so the referee's going to bring them back for a Hawick scrum, and Hawick have still got time. They've got 3 or 4 minutes remaining to try and get that bonus point, but they're going to have to do it from 50 odd metres rather than from 8 metres. The line out just went right over the tail. You've got fingertips to it in the middle. Red path. And there's you can almost hear the heavy breathing now, David, coming from the players on the ref, Mike.
I wonder if you're just talking about us here in the box, but it has been an exciting game, and that's going to be annoying for Matty Douglas there. That was an opportunity with a few minutes to go. Hawick might get another, but to go for that bonus point, and when Hawick are sitting, before this game on 13 points, and Currie sitting at the top there on 20 points, a bonus point can make a big difference in this title race.
Yeah, but there'll also be the psychological element of this. Hawick have made, in the main, let's be fair to Currie, but in the main, Hawick have made Currie the pace setters, the 20 from 20 merchants in terms of points this season. Have made Currie look reasonably ordinary, perhaps, and that'll give Currie something to think about for the coming weeks.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, it will. I think Currie will have expected that coming down here. That they'll really find out where they are, and yeah, I mean, it sets up the next few weeks, doesn't it? Really well. That Hawick, that was the result I think we wanted for the league table.
Yeah.
Even in neutral, we'd want to see us turning it around.
Hawick scrum, they're going to reset it, but Hawick very much a different proposition to the Selkirk, the Jed, the Musselbrand, the Heriots that Currie have faced so far. They can't do any more than take 20 points from that, which is to their eternal credit, but this is a different animal that they have faced here this afternoon. So with little more than a couple of minutes on the clock here at Mansfield, Hawick 28, Currie 13. Currie going to emerge from this with 0 points. Hawick will take 4 points from the encounter unless they can go from reasonably deep here. Lightfoot to feed this scrum. Of course, wee bit of space to be had because Currie are a man down, and there's a kick on here, and if that manages to stay in field, no, and that was exactly where the space was, David.
Yeah, clever, very clever there. Kyle Brunt knew what he was doing. They're a man down in the back line, so they'd left their left wing exposed their Currie, and Kyle found it, and if that ball had stayed in, Morgan Tate, who's back on again now, would have just picked it up and gone in. It just dribbled away from him into touch. Yeah,
smart play again by that man Kyle Brunt, and he's played very well this afternoon. He's put Hawick in exactly the positions that they need to be. His distribution from hand has been very good as well. As I said earlier, a bit of an unsung hero for me in the Hawick ranks. But and Hawick have managed to steal the line out, and so they're up now into the 22. Shades of March about this, albeit a bit of a different context, but Hawick looking for something in the dying embers of this game, as they were on that occasion. There's a big floated pass out there to the most recent try scorer, Charlie Welsh. He's managed to keep it in field, and Morgan Tate has came back on, but no, the referee's going to bring them back for a Hawick forward pass, and you may have heard on the ref mic there that 3 minutes have been called, David, so there's time yet for Hawick to try and get the 5th point from this encounter.
Yeah, the rest will be very keen to make sure he stops that clock every time there's an injury on the pitch, so the Hawick fans will be thinking the game's over. It says 0 on the clock just behind the post there at the clubhouse side, but actually, as you heard, there's still 3 minutes, so there's still chances for Hawick to go and get their bonus point. That could have been it, probably should have been it.
Yeah.
Forward pass.
The wonders of modern technology. We have the benefit of the ref mic here in the Mansfield press box, and the scrum has gone to ground. That's not what Hawick will want, with the clock ticking towards full time as they strive to get the bonus point, but I think they will be happy enough to emerge from this with 4 points, given that they're going to deprive Currie of anything, and given the marker, David, that they'll just lay down here, and how this will resonate around the rest of the league.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think everybody knows that when Hawick lost to Mar, they maybe got a bit of excitement there, and a bit thinking, okay, Hawick might not be as good as they were last season, but I think people have known in the last few weeks that that's probably not the case. And yeah, this will be sending a message out to everybody that Hawick are still very much in the running for this championship.
Yeah, and standoff, it was fed out to Forbes by replacement scrum half Matt O'Neill, and Forbes has been caught in the shadow of his own post, and a penalty has gone the way of Hawick. There's a bit of pushing and shoving there.
Fraser in it.
Yeah,
look at Charlie Welsh looking for the ball.
Oh, Charlie, he's in an acre of space. Charlie Welsh, if they can see him. Oh, and they're over the line, Hawick. Charlie Welsh's services on this near side were not required because someone has stuck it up the jumper and fallen over the line, and the man that is coming up, he's getting the slaps on the back. Who else other than Sean Muir, a captain's innings?
Yeah, I think there was only one thing in Sean Muir's mind there, wasn't it? 5 metres out, you've got a penalty, let's just go now. And Charlie Welsh did really well to come up, and he was totally open. All they needed was a big long pass to the left side, and he could have gone in, but Sean Muir knew, no, there's one way, route one, and the forwards were right in behind him, those Hawick forwards, so they've got the bonus point try.
They have indeed, and it's a dreamland situation for Hawick here this afternoon. All the talk about Currie, some might say that suited the Mansfield men down to the ground. For the first time in a long time, many had them to be second favourites in a 2-horse race, almost unbelievably here at Mansfield. Those Some of those that did will remain nameless. Cough Dale Clancy. As Kirkford lines this one up. Meat and drink a kick of this nature for Ford. He's going to put the cherry on the Sean Muir bonus point cake. Dissects the uprights. The referee's whistle blows for full time. Hawick are victorious by a reasonable sized margin, 35 points to 13, and bar a 15 minute period in the first half, David, it's been one-way traffic.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine that at half-time. We were sitting here at half-time with Currie having had their spell back in the last sort of 15 minutes of that first half, and they came back from 10-3 down to lead 13-3 going into half-time. But Hawick learned from that in the first half, and they gave fewer opportunities in the second half for Currie to come back. They started really well. First 10 minutes they came out the traps really well, and flying in the second half. Hawick, they got themselves back in front. They got that 7-point lead, and rather than sitting on that 7 point, I think the difference in the second half was they bided their time. They defended well again, but then they went for it. They made sure that they went for points when they got them. So they attacked, and they went to another 10 points ahead, and I think that was key. Then they got to 15 points ahead, which meant it was going to be 3 scores for Currie, and that was decisive. And really pleased with the Hawick boys that they've managed to finish off and get their bonus point, because that starts to up the ante at the top of this table.
It most certainly does. So Currie, first defeat of the season, first occasion where they will come away with no points from a fixture this season, but it's Hawick who have recovered absolutely beautifully since that blip on the road at Mar a few weeks ago. It's finished here at Mansfield Park. Hawick with a bonus point, 35, Currie 13.
So a win for Hawick here at Mansfield Park. We'll be getting reaction from both camps shortly, as well as taking a look at the scores as they come in from across the country. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
This is Rugby Radio.
Rugby Radio. To see the fantastic range of learning opportunities to study right here in the Borders, visit borderscollege.ac.uk today. You don't have to go far to go far. Borders College, regionally focused, globally engaged.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
Borders water, Borders barley and Borders people. That's what makes the Borders Distillery. Working exclusively with local farmers, the Borders Distillery is bringing whiskey making back to the region. Our award-winning distillery is open to everyone, where you can meet the people behind the scenes, explore our wash house and shop quality local products. Tour your local distillery and discover the spirit of the Borders. Full details at thebordersdistillery.com. Always enjoy our spirit responsibly. Under 18s must be accompanied by an adult when visiting the Borders Distillery.
When the weather's dreich and a storm's a brewing, you need a strong, windproof, quality umbrella delivered with good old-fashioned customer service and at an affordable price. Up here in Umbrella Heaven, we say you tackle the ball, we'll tackle the weather. UmbrellaHeaven.com for when the heavens open.
This is Rugby Radio, brought to you by Borders College.
Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. Tired of living like a blind man. I'm sick aside without a sense of feeling. And this is how you remind me. This is how you remind me of what I really am. This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story. And this time I'm mistaken for letting you a heart worth breaking. And I've been wrong, I've been down, been to the bottom of every bottle. These 5 words in my head scream Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. And this is how you remind me. This is how you remind me. This is how you remind me of what I really am. This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken. Beforehand I knew a heart worth breaking. And I've been wrong, I've been down, been to the bottom of every bottle. These my words in my head scream out, we haven't fun yet. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we haven't fun yet. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we haven't fun yet. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we haven't fun yet.
Music from Nickelback. You're listening to Rugby Radio live here from Mansfield Park. I can tell you the Premiership table and the full results from the Premiership. It's Glasgow Hawks 26, Inbrackies 32, Hawick 35, Currie 13 as you've been hearing, Heriots Blues 53, Jed Forest 20, Mar 48, Kelso 14 and Selkirk 21, Musselburgh 24, which leaves Mar at the top of the table for the first time on 21 points. Currie slipped to second on 20. Hawick have 18 points in third place, same as Heriots Blues, but a better points difference. Inbrackies in fifth on 17. In sixth position now, Musselburgh, thanks to their win today, 14 points for them. Seventh, it's Glasgow Hawks on 11. Kelso dropped to eighth with 10. And Selkirk in ninth position on 7. Jed Forest 10th on 12. So all three Borders teams at the bottom there. And of course, bucking the trend is Hawick. And Robin Purdie has now got the successful captain Sean Muir with him.
Well, Sean, congratulations. First of all, you made a fast start this afternoon and you looked like a team that meant business.
Look, we knew what we had to do coming out of the blocks. Start fast against Currie. They've started the season unbelievably well, but if I'm honest, they've not played a team like us, and we know when we play to our best, we test anybody in this league, and we knew we just had to get our big men into the game early, like Jay Linton, Dalton Redpath, and we're a handful for anybody.
And they got back into it after you scored 10 points for what looked like an unlikely half-time lead. Was there any element of panic or nerves creeping in with you guys?
No, look, boys were speaking behind the post. We were happy with the first half. We defended really well. Obviously, Currie had a dangerous team and we knew they'd have chances. We knew we'd be under the cosh a little bit. But look, when we were in at half time, there was no panic. We knew just get back to our structures, get a little bit more ball, because after that 20 minutes, we didn't see very much yet. So we knew just to get back to our game plan, get back to our structure, and we would get chances again.
And you started the second half very much in the same vein as you started the first, like a rocket, but this time there was no let up.
Yeah, that was the pleasing thing for me, is we've nilled Currie in the second half, which is no mean feat to do, and we were bang on. Everybody came firing out of the traps, attack, defence, everything was working for us, and it was a really good second half. But if I'm being honest, I still don't think we've hit our best yet. Still think there's a couple more gears to go, and we'll work hard from now to find that for the remainder of the season.
And the bonus point try for yourself at the end there, last play of the game, a nice plump cherry on a very tasty cake.
Look, it's I'm saying I did score many, but I've scored a couple this season. But look, it doesn't matter who scores them. We just, first and foremost, the day was about the win. The bonus points it's massive at the end, but we just need to keep winning. We've reacted since the Mar defeat. We had a few harsh words after that. That wasn't us, and the response since then has been amazing.
And Jed Forest at Riverside next week, you'll be looking to keep up the momentum.
Aye, definitely. Look, that'll be tough. I know Jed haven't started the season great, but we know what border teams are like. Years ago we were like that, backs against the wall. That's when teams are most dangerous. So we'll prepare for Jed like we've prepared for Currie, and hopefully Dale Clancy writes us off again on the podcast. Underdogs, he kind of made the boys team talk today. I didn't have to say a word. Boys are raring to go.
Well, we'll pass on your thanks to Dale Clancy, but yeah, in all seriousness, Sean, great performance by yourself and the guys today. Congratulations.
Cheers, thank you, Robin.
Sean Muir talking to Robin Purdie. They've got the captain of Currie, of course, who's Jamie Forbes, coming up very shortly. Whilst that's all happening, let's tell you about National 1, because here are the results that we have. Ayr 39, Watsonians 27, Biggar 20, Highland 25, GHA 27, Dundee 10. That's still a latest score. Of course, GHK 5, Glasgow Accy 69 was the score from last night, and the big one, Melrose 53, Gala 31 in Division 1, which leaves the table Ayr at the top with 25 points. Second place Highland on 19, GHA third with 17, Glasgow Accy's fourth with 17, Melrose in fifth still with 16. Then it's Gala on 12, Watsonians on 10, and GHK also on 10, Dundee with 6 points, and Biggar at the bottom with 5 points, although they're getting a losing bonus today. OK, let's find out the Currie's perspective now from Robin Purdie talking to the captain, Jamie Forbes.
Well, Jamie, commiserations. First of all, Hawick started the match well, but you guys regrouped and really grew into it, and you went down the tunnel with a half-time lead. Did you feel in a good place at that point?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we believe we're a good team, and we know we are a good team, and I think we probably did go in at half-time on top, even though Hawick started really well. And yeah, we were in a good place. We were pretty positive. The half-time team talk was good. We knew what we needed to come out and do in the second half. We just weren't able to do it.
And coming out the tunnel into the second half, what do you feel the difference was? What went wrong from your end, or was it just a case of Hawick were on song?
We just couldn't get a foothold in the game, to be honest with you. It was difficult. You've got to obviously say that Hawick were very good. They were. They were incredibly incredibly good and incredibly scored well when they had to. But we just couldn't get a foothold in the game. I think we were in there 22 once and spawned the opportunity that we did have. So any momentum that we had at half time was sort of whittled away, and we were obviously disappointed, but I think if we're honest, we didn't deserve to win with that second half performance. We know what we can do. The first half was a reflection of that, but it was a tough second half for us, and we're going to have to lick our wounds for next week.
And of course, you won't be the only team to come here to Mansfield this season and come unstuck, and given the start that you've had to the season, there's no need to press the panic button, of course.
No, not at all. And I think immediately after a result like that, you naturally do. You're obviously disappointed. There's an element of embarrassment there from our perspective as well, absolutely. But we have had a good start to the season, and we will go again next week. We've got Hawks at home where we can regroup and hopefully get back to what we are and kind of the way that we want to play. But we were under no illusions that this was going to be tough today, but we were also under no illusions that we could hopefully come away with a result today. And we didn't do that. Hawick deserved everything they got, but we're obviously disappointed. Yeah.
And you mentioned there it's Hawks at Millennium next week, potentially an opportunity to get back on the horse, so to speak.
That's the way that we've got to look at it. Yeah, we've got to look at it that way. They will be difficult as well. They'll be obviously a tough team to play coming through to Millennium, but we back ourselves against anybody at Millennium, and we'll go again and hopefully put in a good performance and sort of put today to rest and try and sort of build for the rest of the season.
Well, Jamie, thanks for joining us here at the back of the stand at Mansfield. Thanks for your time and commiserations.
No worries, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Certainly a good game there at Mansfield Park, and of course David Ferguson. It means that record for Hawick goes on to almost 4 years now, winning here at Mansfield Park. Talk about a fortress.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and you can hear that you've really got that crowd back behind them again here at Mansfield Park, haven't you? The Hawick supporters are loving the rugby at the moment. Obviously, last season, the scenes of the pitch being covered and supporters out there loving having a team that are top of the Scottish game again. That's going to continue, and it's only going to inspire more and motivate more. But it means that it does become a difficult place to come and play, because you could hear the unrest of the supporters, you could hear them, the cheering every time they won a penalty, every time there's a big hit out in the field. That's not easy for a team, coming here like Currie. You've got to face that all the time. Your own disappointment in the park because you've made a mistake or you've gone backwards is compounded by listening to almost the whole stand, it seems, that are behind you, that are making about the mistakes you've made. Not great for your confidence out in the park. And it's interesting hearing Jamie Forbes saying that they knew what they wanted to do, they knew what they had to do in the second half, they just didn't do it. And the question for Mark Mark Cairns and Ali Donaldson is how much of that was down to Currie's play and how much of that was down to Hawick's. And I think there's an element that was Currie. I think they did have a couple of chances, as he said, where they coughed up possession, but you're only talking 2 or 3 really in that second half that they created. I think a lot more of that was down to the Hawick play in that second half.
OK, we'll break off there just for a moment because we can go down to the Gites where Hugh Brown is waiting for us. Remember, it ended Peebles 26, Lasswade 27. Lasswade at the top of the table.
Well, sadly, Peebles' unbeaten run has come to an end, but it was so close. Just a point separated the teams at the full-time whistle. Trailing by 13 at the interval, it was always going to be an uphill struggle for the men from the Gites, but they made it very, very close and difficult for the visitors from Lasswade. But it was the visitors who scored first in the second half, but 2 tries from the home team put them just a point behind. But that was as far as they got and as close as they got, I'm afraid. So it's Lasswade who take the victory. Peebles do get 2 bonus points, though, for the 1 point defeat. Final score here at the Gites was Peebles 26, Lasswade 27.
I'll just bring Robin back in on this one. We've been talking up the Peebles-Lasswade game for a while, and it certainly didn't disappoint by the sounds of things.
No, it didn't. You're absolutely right, and it's a shame to see Peebles' unbeaten start to the season come unstuck at home today. But yeah, it sounds like it was a bit of a ding dong there, and Lasswade march on. But Peebles are absolutely going to be there or thereabouts. We've seen them this season. They look a decent team, and yeah, I still expect them to push on and be there or thereabouts.
Some other results have just come in. Berwick 19, Newton Stewart 23. So another bonus point for Berwick, but that's one they're going to be disappointed in.
Yeah, it's never ideal to lose at home, and not that many teams go down to Scramerston and come away with a win. So yeah, unfortunate one for Berwick. But again, they'll regroup and they'll look to kick on from here.
Kirkcaldy 25, Aberdeen Grammar 13. Aberdeen Grammar still without a win, and for the first time this season, no bonus point, which is unusual for them. But that's another prediction that Dale Clancy got wrong. He thought they were going to win that one, but there we are. We'll have words with them on Thursday. Anyway, Gordonians against Falkirk. Last we heard, it was Gordonians 27, Falkirk 22. Gordonians, of course, in 4th place, Falkirk in 3rd. Still waiting on the full-time result to come through on that one. And a couple of Borders results. Langham 21, Linlithgow 24, full-time score at Milntown there in East League 1. East League 2, Hoyt Quinns 81, Duns 12, and in East League 3, Galloway M 10, Earlston 48. So that's how it lines up in those matches. Latest score we had was Howe 5, 36, Dumfries 5. So they were certainly well on their way to getting the full 5 points in that particular game. So our closing headlines tonight in the Premiership: there were wins for Edinburgh Accies, for Hawick, Heriots Blues, Mar and Musselburgh in the Premiership. In National 1, victories went to Ayr, Highland, GHA, Glasgow Accies from last night, of course, and Melrose. Results from Divisions 2, 3 and 4, they'll appear on our website at rugbyradio.co.uk as soon as they come in. We'll be back next Saturday when we're back in the Premiership with a big game between Kelso and Selkirk at Poynter Park. Don't forget our weekly Scottish Club Rugby podcast. That's available every Thursday, and our 5th edition is online right now, along with the other 4 episodes with Dale Clancy and myself. We'll be back here next Saturday on Rugby Radio between 2:30 and 5 o'clock. Hope you can join us then, but from me and the team, a very good afternoon.